You're listening to Middle-Aged Movie Reviews.
Hello, welcome to the Middle-Aged Movies Podcast. Three guys saying, tell me something, my friends. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? My name is Tim, and my podcasting partners are...
I'm Matt.
Realm Master Rick.
All right, Rick. Why don't you tell us what movie we're watching tonight at the Monarch Theater?
All right. Tonight we're watching Batman, number 792 from the Book of 1001 Movies You Should Watch Before You Die. Written by Warren Scarron, Sam Hamm, inspired by characters created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, and the great Billy D. Williams.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Yes, because we have to tie in some kind of Star Wars. So, you know, we got Billy D.
Yeah, you know what he's saying. What have we here?
Well, Rick, thank you for that wonderful intro. So, you know, Batman is an iconic name and a title for a film. With there being so many versions of the Bat, do you have a better title for this film than just Batman?
Yes, indeed I do. With my extensive research into anime, I have produced the ultimate title for such a movie. This one should have been called Batman, the Cape Crusader creates the villain, gets the girl, brings justice to Gotham, and vengeance to his family legacy.
Ooh, I like that. I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah.
All right, well, Tim, when was the first time you ever watched Batman?
We're in the target zone now. I mean, we're at 1989. This is a soon to graduate Tim. In fact, probably graduated because this is a summer flick. And I'm spending a lot of time trying to avoid work and getting ready to go to school. So I'm watching a lot of movies, hanging out with my friends. So yeah, theater, absolutely in the theater. Got to see this probably, I'm guessing, 2 or 3 times before it finally left. So yeah, theater.
Awesome. You know, I'm gonna jump right on that as well, because I too got to see it in the theater. I remember distinctly going to the theater right after a minor league baseball game, because you know I was in youth baseball that summer, and I did not like the pitching machine. I did not like playing the baseball game. So right afterwards, my dad's like, "Well, let's go see this new movie. It's the Batman movie." I'm like, "Sweet." So like my entire summer was spent playing baseball and watching the Batman movie over and over again. It was great. So what about you, Rick?
So I've kind of talked about this a couple times. The first movie I ever watched in a theater was Braveheart. But matter of fact, I've never said this, I don't think. My parents, they never brought me to the movie theater, right? However, they would bring us to the drive-in. And this was the first drive-in movie that I ever watched. This was the first thing on a big screen that I ever watched. It was this, and I can't even remember for the life of me what was the other movie, but there was 2 movies that were playing. You know how they do at the drive-in. This was one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
It was cool, man, because I'd never before seen anything on a big screen. So this was like really, really cool.
That exciting.
That exciting, but it was cool. That's all I got.
Awesome. All right, Tim. Well, as our resident chief of police, what are you going to request for the synopsis tonight?
All right, Matt, on this very special evening of ours, I think I'm going to make it easier than I have so far this year for you. I would just like you to read the synopsis as one of the distraught news anchors saddened that they cannot wear makeup to hide their hideous complexions.
All right. That's a lot easier than having to do the Batman voice for 2 hours. So I'm glad I don't have to do that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, here we go. Good evening. As Gotham prepares to celebrate its 200th anniversary and the 100th episode of the Middle-Aged Movie Review podcast, a dark cloud engulfs the city. Crime has risen to an all-time high as police appear helpless to stop it. even with assurances from Mayor Borg, Commissioner Gordon, and DA Harvey Dent that they are on the verge of bringing those responsible into custody. The citizenship continues to cower in fear. To add to this uneasiness, rumors have spread about the cowled vigilante that roams the night dressed as a bat. Who is this Batman? And is he friend or foe? And if he is a friend to the citizenry, then is the recent appearance of the supervillain Joker a direct result of the arrival of Batman? There appear to be more questions than answers this evening as the Joker's reign of terror continues. With City Hall seemingly having its hands tied behind its back, we can only watch as the new battle of good versus evil plays out in the streets of Gotham, and hope is Batman on our side.
All right, Matt, this may be your finest moment. Well done, sir. Well done.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. So if this is what we have for a synopsis, I was wondering if at all possible we might be able to see the actual movie trailer to see if it compares.
Oh, got some competition. Let's see how it rolls.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
And what do you do for a living?
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City?
Nice outfit.
You look fine.
I didn't ask. I have given a name to my pain.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
My life is really complex.
Winged freak terrorizes. Wait till they get a load of me.
Man, I'm going to say it. I think you won hands down, man. For an 80s trailer, that was kind of some weak sauce. It was kind of badly edited and it had a poor sound quality to it. And where's all the music? Where's the Batman music that makes this thing, so awesome? It's just not there. I don't think that's a very good trailer, especially for 1989. There's no excuses.
So it didn't say in a world. But I thought it was pretty okay. Maybe it was kind of geared towards maybe a little bit of a younger audience because it was a lot of like clips of the little one-liners that are in there and highlights without really showing a whole lot. So I thought the trailer was okay. It didn't give away the movie,
Right.
But yeah, I see what you're saying as far as the missed opportunity with featuring some of the cool music that's on there. Like for instance, Prince, like they could have done a little bit with that. There was a couple really fun scenes with some Prince music in there, but I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. And I always remember that line where he was like, where does he get those toys?
Right. Point where we don't have a whole lot of music in it. And, we do get two spots where we have some symphonic music from Danny Elfman. But yeah, it was definitely lacking something extra. And I got to say, the one cool thing about this is it was part of the whole ad promotional for Batman. Mind you, this is before the internet, before we had all the cool buzz and stuff. But people were actually buying tickets to see a movie that played the trailer just to watch the trailer, and then they got up and left the movie. So it was kind of cool to find that people were interested in seeing this new, darker version of Batman, because before all they had to go on was the Adam West 1966 Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool to get sucked into that.
Mm. Well, and I find that interesting because I know Warner Brothers was a little nervous about making this flick. I mean, it took almost 10 years just to get it, to the theater.
Oh yeah.
And so at one point they were kind of voicing their, reluctance about the film. And so I know that Tim Burton and crew put together a very down and dirty quick trailer and sent it to the theater so they could see it. And so the executives went and watched it. The trailer played. It got a standing ovation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Warner Brothers was like, all right, you're completely greenlit. Keep going kind of thing. So I wonder if this is that trailer, because it feels like it's kind of early on in the process, although it does have the Batwing in there. But again, they don't necessarily, film everything linear. It's one of the last films that really doesn't use CG. It's all practical effects, so they could have been doing several things at the same time and had some of that ready to go. So I wonder if that's not this trailer that we just watched.
It could be. I mean, it was listed everywhere I looked as the original trailer, so it was like the first one that was sent out as kind of a teaser. So mileage may vary for some people.
Right.
As time can tell, it became a smash hit.
Indeed, it did. And on the 50th anniversary of The Bat.
Yes.
Which is kind of, ironic, because this is, Matt, what is today? Tell everybody what today is.
Today is our 100th episode, folks. And what better way to celebrate? Oh, wait, here.
There we go.
Okay.
Encore.
Yes.
Encore. Oh my God.
Oh,
104 of them. Yes. And of course, that's our wonderful 100th episode. I'm excited, guys, to talk about Batman.
Yeah, I am too. It could be a better movie to do on our 100th episode.
Exactly. And, I am a huge comic book fan. And when this came out, this was like the start of the whole comic book movie franchise. It was like, this was the top billing comic book movie until Spider-Man. So, I'm really excited to talk about this tonight.
Yeah, man, this movie came out, and like I said, I watched it. And for me, I'll be honest, man, Batman for me has always been one of the weaker superheroes. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get into why that is. Yeah, dude, for sure. But as far as style goes, he's like definitely one of the coolest. And there was a really, really good Super Nintendo game featured from this movie. It was called Batman off of the Super Nintendo. It came out in, I think it was 93. And I had that game, man. I played the crap out of that game, dude. It was super cool. You could actually use like the same type of moves that he was using in this one. There were enemies that were very much featured, just like all the characters with their costumes and stuff. Those were all inside this game. Even, I don't know if you remember, like there was a signature like martial art type character a couple times we saw in the movie, and we had a number of those type of enemies that came out. And I don't know, Batman was cool though, because you could just basically punch everyone and kick everyone and stuff. It was cool. It was like a beat 'em up type of game.
Now, see, I'm 180 from you, Rick. For me, Batman's the one that clicked, because as we all know, Matt, out of all of us, he is the giant comic book guy. Not so much a superhero fan. I shouldn't say superhero fan. Not in my youth. It was not a major thing for me. I mean, I lived in the world of cowboys and Indians. Then I probably moved to the $6 Million Man. And then it was on to Star Wars, and I never looked back. Superheroes just didn't have a big footprint in my life. But part of that, I think, is simply because I just couldn't wrap myself around the superheroes and their superpowers. I don't know why I can accept a galaxy far, far away, but I can't accept a man flying around in tights, shooting laser beams out of his eyes. That was too far for me. I don't know why. But Batman made sense to me because this is an average guy that's using cool technology and fighting skills to fight crimes. And even the criminals didn't have overly, superpowers. They just, again, the Joker, he's a super villain, but he's like a chemist, and he's kind of nuts. So he's outside of the normal society. So anything goes with this guy. He wasn't relying on some kind of crazy superpowers to get him through it. It was just his insanity and his, skill sets that he had, such as chemistry and things like that, that made him such a great supervillain. And so it clicked with me, as well as later on, it's going to be the Punisher, Judge Dredd, people that are grounded that I could look at and go, I could be that guy. And I think that's why I like zombie movies too, out of all the horror franchises, because that makes sense to me. Should the undead rise, I could survive that. There's a chance. But when I'm up against, I don't know,
40-foot Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to survive. There you go.
Yeah, I like how, in particular this film, Tim Burton got Batman grounded to street level. He was regular life kind of Batman. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as campy as the 1966 Adam West, but he was still kind of grounded in reality. And that's what I think really helped this film. And on top of that, this is the post Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Batman. So it's a much darker looking Batman. So they were really going into that whole Dark Knight feel to introduce us to this Batman universe.
Well, and it's to you that got me to read comic books, because it was that Frank Miller comic series, The Dark Knight, that you got me, the omnibus, and said, here, read this, because I was kind of, again, this is not the first time we've had this conversation, and I read it, I'm like, all right, I see the value in comic books now. I think I can selectively start reading certain things because this was really good. So it is kind of what led me back as an adult to, picking up a comic book and actually reading it.
Yeah.
So one thing I will say about Batman, I guess I could go ahead and put this out there. The reason why I never really appreciated Batman was because the opposite of what you're saying, Tim. So like superheroes, they have superpowers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, Superman would absolutely destroy Batman. Like, there's just no contest, man. You know what I'm saying? However, I don't remember the name of the title, the one where Ben Affleck plays as Batman.
Batman v Superman?
Yeah. So in that one, that is when it made sense to me to at least some amount. I was like, oh, okay, he does have a superpower. His superpower is he's fucking rich.
Right.
That's like, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I understand a little bit now. I can understand where this is coming from now. So before that line, I'm like, this dude is not he should not be with the rest of these motherfuckers because he is just like some ordinary dude. Nah, man, that was the line for me that really was like, okay, Batman is kind of cool.
I think they fleshed out the Wayne Industries nicely in that one, which is probably what clicked for you. I mean, we know that's happening in this one, but it's not in the film. You just understand that Batman's super rich and somebody's making all this cool shit because he ain't doing it. I mean, there's no way he's down there in his Bat cave, basically mining that all out, creating this awesome, the Bat cave, as you will. I don't know what else to call it. And then, creating cool Bat wings and Bat cars and Bat belts and, Bat every accessory you can think of. It's just, there's one guy cannot do all that on his own. So if you think about it, it's like it was there. It just wasn't presented like it was in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah. Let's then dive into the Batman from 1989. So we get the first ever iconic phrase, "I'm Batman." And I just want to point out that line wasn't originally scripted. That was actually a ad lib by Michael Keaton because the line was more like, "I'm the darkness, I'm vengeance, I'm justice.
I am the night," I think, wasn't it? I am the night. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't rolling right for Tim, and so then he's like, "Well, what do you got, Michael?" And then that's when Michael came up with "I'm Batman," and that became the iconic phrase in the entire, Batman universe. And I just think that this is really cool that this is where we get to see it, and we get to see that because two hoods rob a family of three that walked through the wrong alley at the wrong time in probably the coolest setup for this Gotham City, because Gotham City just looks dark and dirty and like this is like 1970s New York feel to it. And I love the way that this translates onto the screen, and the hoods are sticking up this family, and you can tell that they're tourists because the boy's like trying to tell the father which way to go. And I was really hoping when I was first watched this film that Batman would show up right then and there, but he doesn't. The hoods basically steal the guy's money and run off, and they're hiding out on top of a roof. And that, of course, is where we get to see the hoods get taken out by Batman on this rooftop action sequence. And it was, I don't know, it was just seeing Batman for the first time in this dark version on the silver screen was just awesome to me. And I love the whole fighting sequence and the use of the iconic line. We get to see some cool gadgets as well. What did you guys first think about when you saw Batman on the screen?
I think the first thing that struck me is I think every criminal Gotham has jaundice. Everybody's got kind of a weird, like greenish, pale look to them. It's kind of weird. So it makes, I think you're supposed to assume that they're drug addicts and things without them actually, pointing that out to you. I like how it presents Gotham in that kind of New York-esque kind of look to it. I think what they capture in this is that you can't pinpoint what year it is.
Right.
There's a little bit of everything going on there. I mean, there's some 80s, there's some 70s, 50s, 40s. There's a little bit of everything in there. So it's kind of timeless. You know what I mean? Like it just, you can't, I mean, the cars are newer and stuff, but there's still a bunch of old things in there that just give it it could fit into an A era kind of thing. And I enjoy that about it. And it also makes it so that you can't just say, oh, well, that's Chicago or, oh, that's New York. I mean, we kind of understand it's probably based off those two cities, really. I mean, for the most part, but
bullshit, Tim. That shit's Detroit.
All right. Yeah, well, yeah, you might not be wrong there.
OCP, man. OCP.
Yeah. But I did enjoy it. And I like how they're up after they got their score and they're sitting on the roof and the guy's like, we got to go. He's like, what's the matter with you, man? Don't you like heights? He's like, no, man, it's the bat. Remember when, I don't know the guy's name, but remember, George, like I heard you throw him off a building. He's like, nah, that guy just tripped and fell off a building, whatever. And then in the background, here comes the bat dropping down from nowhere. And it's just such an iconic comic book move to have him just kind of just float on down there in that weird superhero Batman fashion he does. And then he just waits a second and then they turn around and they're like, son of a bitch, so it's about to get real.
Yeah. And, I like the fact that we established right off the bat that there's already an urban legend to him and that, we don't spend a half an hour explaining his origin. We just get to see him right there, right off the bat. Just boom.
Well, I think that's because it's kind of a new thing. He's fairly new to Gotham, I feel like,
right
at the beginning here.
Yeah, for sure. The thing that really pulled me in here in the beginning was even a little bit before this scene started. It was you had already said the score by Danny Elfman, but geez, man, it's so amazing, so insane, man. The music for the iconic Batman Dark Knight theme. Oh God, man, it's amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely just draws you in. And then when you do put that with the picture viewing of like Tim said, the dark Gotham, it's like really good. It really sets a very powerful tone for this movie. And I think without it being so dark and having such a really powerful kind of dingy or kind of dark kind of score, then I think it would have actually played out quite differently because the lead actors are not really too scary. I would even say that Michael Keaton is like the opposite of scary. I mean, when he puts the mask on and he put a little bit of makeup around his eyes, he does all right. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the music and the set really make it dark.
Well, when they first cast Michael Keaton, there was a lot of uproar because nobody wanted a comedian in the role of Batman, and the studio even came back and said, "Why don't you get like Mel Gibson or somebody like Harrison Ford to play Batman?" And Burton said off the bat, he's like, "No, I want Michael Keaton to." And they actually showed a film with Michael Keaton in a dramatic role, and that's when they're like, "Okay, we get it now. All right, go ahead."
Well, and I think this is some of it too is just Keaton's got a little bit of the crazy eye going on, and I don't know if it's just blue eyes that do it or not. I doing my research into this movie. I mean, there's a laundry list of people who are going to direct this, and then the people that they thought were going to play Batman, and a lot of them that they brought up, I was like, nah, I can't see it. Nah, I don't. Nah. Mel Gibson, though, I'm not sure how I would feel about him as Bruce Wayne, but if you put him in the cowl and just got the eyeballs to work with, we've talked about this in past Mel Gibson flicks. That dude works amazing, acrobatic acting chops with just his eyes and his looks and things like that. I think he could have sold the Batman with his eyes. And I think the only person that would come in second to that is Keaton. I think Keaton does a pretty good job too, but I think Mel might have thrown that just a little over the top. But I'm not sure I can see him as the Bat all the way through. Like I have to say that Keaton's probably, obviously the better choice out of all the people that they picked. Although I still don't think he's quite my favorite Batman, and maybe in a little bit we're going to have to throw down, name all the Batmans, and we're going to have to pick it because I usually get crucified in this one. But we'll see what happens.
Come on, everybody knows Adam West is the best Batman.
There are some hardliners on that. Okay, let's just do it now. Let's do it now. Let's do it.
Get it out of the way.
Okay. I mean, no, you guys, you go first.
Okay,
Matt. Yeah, I mean, you are the comic book guy. So we've got Adam West, we've got Michael Keaton, we've got Christian Bale, that other guy that played in the new one that I don't know his name. We got Affleck.
Oh yeah, the guy from Twilight. Yeah,
Robert Pattinson.
And then we got
Kilmer,
and we got Affleck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pick it, Matt. Which one's your favorite?
I'm a traditionalist.
Hang on, I'm going to put a caveat. You have to justify why not only does he make a good Batman, but he also makes a good Bruce Wayne.
Yes, and that, honestly, I'm a hardcore, and I gotta say, I think Michael Keaton did a great job as both Batman and Bruce Wayne. I think he set the mold, and then everyone else kind of had to try to fit into that mold, minus a certain individual who I'm going to remain nameless for now, Clooney. But yes, Michael Keaton is probably my favorite Batman and Bruce Wayne.
All right. Rick, how about you? Where are you sitting with this?
All right. So I'm like I said, I would not necessarily call myself a Batman aficionado, but I really like Val Kilmer, you guys. I don't know.
I'll give you that. He was good.
I really like Val Kilmer. I think he does really good in both the Batman and the Bruce Wayne role. And I don't know. I thought he did really, really good because he was able to kind of like do both or whatever. However, if I was just going to give an award for like Bruce Wayne, I think Ben Affleck is the best Bruce Wayne. But obviously that's not Batman, that's Bruce Wayne. So,
all right, Tim.
Put that out there.
All right.
Lay it on us.
So, back in the day when we were talking about this, before even the Christian Bale movies and things came out, if we just go with the Adam West two, and these four movies, I used to say, I think Clooney made the best Bruce Wayne by far. I mean, that dude's just got Bruce Wayne written all over him.
He looks like a Playboy billionaire.
Yeah, he plays that role to a T. When it came to being Batman, I almost had to give it to Keaton, reluctantly. But now I'm going to stand with my man Kevin Smith and say it's Affleck. Man, I'm telling you, Ben Affleck all the way. But it could have been young Affleck. It had to be Affleck much older now.
Yeah.
That guy is broody and moody, like he is angry. He plays a pretty good Bruce Wayne, but he really plays a great antagonistic, brooding Batman, in my opinion. I mean, just that whole, I don't trust that fucking Superman. There's nobody that can have that much power that's going to be up to any good. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find that guy's kryptonite. I'm going to take him down. The movie was horrible. Affleck is the only thing that's good about it, as far as I'm concerned.
I have to admit that I do like the fact that Affleck channels the Dark Knight really well. He has a good grasp on that, and I like the fact that he put in the work to make himself look like an aged but physically fit Bruce Wayne. But I don't know. I just every time I look at Affleck, I think of Mallrats. So I mean, it's hard for me.
Yeah,
yeah, but take the guy from the upscale mail? Is that what the store was he worked at or whatever? That is the socialite shithead Bruce Wayne right there. I mean, that's if he would have channeled more of that, I think that's really the Playboy Bruce Wayne a little bit. He's better than everybody else to an extent. Although Bruce Wayne's not really like that, but most most people that are from money usually are, that they feel they're a little bit better than most people, things like that. I think that's sold not quite as much in the later Affleck playing him, but I think if you could have channeled that earlier Affleck Playboy part of that with the angry, grizzled Batman persona, it was perfect.
Nice. All right. Well, now that we've got the bat out of the way, let's take a look at what we have as the main antagonist. So Jack Napier, played by the enigmatic and wonderful Jack Nicholson. I was excited to see him on the screen because there's just something about him. He has like a certain presence, joie de vivre to his roles, and we get to see Jack watching Harvey Dent's inauguration as well as the introduction to Boss Grissom's girlfriend, Alicia. This is pretty much establishes that Jack Nicholson is the main antagonist, but he hasn't had his creation moment yet. We see and are told that he is the enforcer for Boss Grissom, and we're also introduced to several city council members and the DA for Gotham, Harvey Dent, played by
Billy D. Williams.
The man who has...
Style?
I was looking for Riz, but all right. Okay. All right.
All right.
I'm trying to set you up, man.
Style, baby.
There are certain phrases that you use in the podcast, and I'm trying to set you up for these.
I hear you. All right. I wasn't sure what you were going for there, but okay, I got you now.
All right. I'll do a better job trying to set you up. The only thing that I kind of wish that Harvey had was a really cool cloak, because only Billy D. Williams can pull off a really cool cloak.
You know what, though? But hold on a second. So something that Tim had said was, I think it was Tim, that there was a wide array of very interesting costumes as well as sets that lead you to believe that it very well could be a film that takes place in that time's present. So like, the late 80s, all the way to the 30s, maybe even 20s.
Yeah.
And it is in that time period, the 30s and 20s, where you could get away with a pinstripe suit and a little cape on the side. You could actually make that happen. And he could have made that work.
But I did notice one thing about him, though. Every scene we see him in, he's got a flower in his lapel. He's got like a red rose or a red flower in his lapel. And I'm like, that's style. He's styling 1930s.
And I tell you what, that was for me super endearing. I really, 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 really love the clothing wear from the 30s. Like the pinstripe, the zoot suits, the wingtip shoes, even female dresses and hats and stuff like that. That was very, very, very stylish clothes back then.
Yeah. I got it hands down. I got to give it to the costume designers, because I mean, it just, like Tim had said, it was timeless, because you feel like you're in a universe or a time period that just has everything. So not only are we introduced to Jack, we're also introduced to his informant, or actually, is it an informant? The guy that's on his payroll, and that's of course Eckhart.
Well, it's the dirty cop.
Yeah,
he's the dirty cop, man.
So we get to see the whole inner workings work with the crime lord, and we see a little bit of interaction between Jack and Eckhart, and I thought it was kind of neat that you're getting all this gritty feeling and this backstory, and it's being shown to us. It's quick. It's basically established. Okay, this is the bad guy. This is the dirty cop. Here's the reporter. Here's our city council. Go. It's leading everything into Act One, introducing the characters, getting us all set up, which you don't see a whole lot today. Today it's like it's drawn out. Act One takes like 2 hours instead of 45 minutes or 35 minutes, however long it took.
What I don't know if I appreciated was the way that Knox was portrayed super early. I mean, it makes for the character becoming probably. I guess there maybe I can say, I was going to say he's the only dynamic character, but that's not true. I think almost every character to some degree is dynamic, and he definitely is. I don't appreciate the way that he first was portrayed on the screen. I thought he was just way too freaking annoying. You know what I mean? Like, just extremely green. And by the end, he definitely mellows out a little bit and becomes more of a legitimate reporter. And I like the way that his character was finalized by the end of the film. Just in the beginning, it was so annoying. And that must have been the intent, but that's just how I felt.
I think it's because with Alexander Knox, he's a throw-in character. He's not in any of the other Batman movies. He's not, as far as I know, in the comic books. He's exclusive to this movie. Now, I don't know if they used him going forward past this, but so he had nothing to work off of. So I think he just kind of developed that character as it went, where a lot of these other characters, like, Max Eckhart, I mean, he's in a lot of the comic books and stuff. And by the way, Matt, since you were trying to throw in a little bit of Star Wars trivia, do you know William, is it Hawkins, I think his name is?
The guy who plays Eckhart?
Yeah.
Isn't he Jeb Porkins?
Yes, he's Porkins. So there we go. He's one of 3 Star Wars people. Can you name the other one that's in this movie?
Bro.
I know it's not Cliff Clavin.
Nope. This is going to be a pretty obscure one.
And it's not Jack Palance.
No. I'll give you a hint. His scenes were originally removed from the movie.
Oh, Biggs?
Yes.
Okay.
That is Tourist's dad.
Oh, okay.
Put away your papers so we look like tourists.
Yeah.
That's him. Yeah, that's Biggs.
I didn't recognize
so
him.
There you go. There you go.
There's
There's your 3 Star Wars. There's your trifecta of Star Wars characters.
Fantastic.
But I digress. But I mean, we get a lot of introduction, like you said, very quickly into this one. I mean, but there's so much there. It just fills in so much so quickly. I mean, we get to see City Hall. We get to see the mayor fretting that we're going to have our 200th anniversary come hell or high water. And everybody else is like, I don't know, man. Things are pretty screwed up right now. And, we get introduced to, Billy D as Harvey Dent. We get to see the corrupt lieutenant, and we get to see Jack. I mean, and my God, Jack Nicholson in this thing. Jack Napier is already a really good character. We'll have to wait to even get into it once he becomes the Joker. But I mean, Jack brings such a charisma, a cadence, and a swagger that I can't imagine what that was like for Michael Keaton to be like, this is the guy I have to play off of. I mean, can you really think about that? I mean, Michael Keaton, not a big player yet. I mean, he just got off of Beetlejuice, which was good for him. But, and he's still never hit as many big films as Jack Nicholson in his career. He's had a lot of ups and downs. Jack's pretty steady, and he's already an icon. And he has such a way of presenting. His cadence and his speak and the way that he just does things is just iconic. I can't imagine having to, co-star against this guy. But I'm going to say Michael Keaton brought it. I mean, he brought it. Yeah. He does not feel like an inferior actor / character to Jack Nicholson's Jack Napier / Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta say, like you said, he had a swagger to it. I mean, we even see in the trailer, he's looking in the mirror, and the boss's girlfriend and Jack's girlfriend says, "You look fine." I mean, he just, I didn't ask. Yeah. Like, just the fact that he's got a presence wherever he's at.
It's the timing and the looks and just the way that he can twist a phrase. I mean, I hear that that's the way he is in real life. He's one of those guys. Another example would probably be Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. When you hear that guy talk, or David Lee Roth from Van Halen, those guys, they have their own speech pattern, their own way of talking, their own way of just again, it's just that swagger and that cadence to them, who they are. And I think that's who Jack is in real life. You just got to kind of know how to deal with it. But man, it pays off on the when you get him up on the big screen. He brings life to his characters. And he did it in The Shining. He did it in so many films, and he does it here. Right. I mean, I know that we're going to get to see another Joker later down the line that's equally as good, but he's still no Jack Nicholson. By far, Jack Nicholson is the flippin' Joker. There's no doubt about it. He is the king.
Well, yeah, I mean, because we had this movie to compare it to, and the 1966 Batman played by Cesar Romero. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely a huge difference between the two characters.
Yeah, and Cesar Romero's is not bad. I mean, I enjoyed the Jokers. Yeah. Those were my favorite episodes in the 66 Batmans. By far was always the Joker episodes, which I think they're everybody's for the most part.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad character, but Nicholson just turned it up. I mean, he turned it, dude, it's not even 11. It's like 22. He turns it up to 22.
Nice.
What do you think, Matt? Do you agree? Or
I
was
agree.
there
I
another
agree.
Joker that might have been better?
So, yeah, I'm gonna briefly talk about Heath Ledger. I think Heath Ledger's Joker was the equivalent of like Frank Miller's Joker. I mean, he took the whole psychotic thing to the next level. But as far as relating it to the comic book and relating it to what we needed at the time in '89, I think Jack Nicholson hit it to a T. I mean, right off the bat, he was the psychotic Joker that you see in some of the '70s and '80s comic books that really pull people into it. And I think Jack did a great job with that. And, while we're on the topic of the Joker and Jack pre-Joker creation, so the name Jack Napier, do you guys know where that comes from?
I know I have read it before, but I don't remember the origin of it now.
No clue.
Okay, so he got the name Jack because he's played by Jack Nicholson. But the name Napier was actually a tip of the cap to the original Alfred Pennyworth from the 1966, who was portrayed by Alan Napier. So they wanted to like make some kind of tie back to the 1966. So they gave it to Jack's character, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just cool the way they incorporated this because they added this in to try to ramp up the conflict between Batman and Joker, which they did. And actually, I think Sam Hamm and Bob Crane were both like, yeah, that was a really good idea. It's the one time that somebody's taken a liberty like that, a major liberty, I will say, with a character like that in a beloved franchise, and it paid off.
It was a far better idea than making them brothers.
Was that a thing? Did that happen?
Well, did you watch the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, they
watched that.
Yeah, they kind of hint at that in that movie, but
that's
they don't
horrible.
come out and say it. Yeah,
that's a horrible idea.
They were like possibly half brothers, maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, I heard those were not that good, so I never bothered watching them.
Yeah, it's better off not.
All right, I made the correct choice.
Yes. Well, we mentioned Knox, and I kind of want to like loop back to him. I kind of agree with you guys. I think Knox was like an added character that really, I would give him the character name of Basil Exposition because he really didn't bring a whole lot to the movie other than trying to link some exposition scenes and kind of tying a few things together. He does, of course, introduce us to the Vicky Vale character, and let's talk a little bit about Vicky Vale. What did you guys think?
She absolutely radiates femininity incarnate. Like, just ever since the first freaking slide, man. Like, she's got her feet up on Knox's desk, and he's just like straight up like, wowza, right from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? So that alone.
How was that?
Wowza. So that just like immediately, I think, lets the audience know, like, okay, she is the center of male attention and will be for the remainder of the film. And if you didn't get the message from that, all you had to do was open your eyes, and you were just like, dang, like, okay, definitely, I understand where Knox is coming from here. She is very easy on the eyes.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. She is the quintessential 80s woman. I mean, this is it. This is 89. After this, we're going to head into the 90s, and women are going to start wearing potato sacks and not combing their hair, and I don't know what else. It just, that whole Seattle scene, it just goes downhill from there. But, I mean, right now, Kim Basinger, as Vicky Vale, she's just, dude, she is a smoke show. She's got that massive 80s hair going on.
Yeah,
she doesn't have the big poofs and stuff going on, but that's still, she's got that massive hair and things. She's dressed really, really, nice all the time. She looks really good. I mean, it just doesn't get better than this. It just doesn't get better than this. And she's so well presented in this film. I mean, not only is she beautiful, but she has a successful career as a photographer, and not just down at your local Sears doing kids' portraits. I mean, she's going out into the field, into dangerous places and things like that. So she's got talent, she's got skill, she's got a decent career. She's, again, just stunningly beautiful. I mean, she's the total package.
Yeah, I like the fact that she plays the love interest, the damsel in distress, and a strong female lead all in one. I mean, it's like they get the right proportions all set for Vicky Vale in this movie, and Kim Basinger just brought it.
Interesting choice of words there, man.
Thank you. I was taking a page out of your comic book, or maybe a panel. Knox is introduced to Vicky Vale. Vale basically comes out and says, "Hey, I want to investigate the Bat story." Knox, like we said, pretty much instantly falls in love with our heroine, and
who didn't?
Yeah. They come up with the idea that they need to get some sound bites, they need to get some information from Commissioner Gordon to find out whether or not he's got a file on the Batman. And the best way to find out is to go to the Save the Festival gala taking place at Bruce Wayne's house. And Mansion, yes. Wayne Manor.
His little
Wayne
hobble.
Manor.
His little hobble.
Yeah. Manor.
That little hobble he lives in.
Yes. Now, of course, poor Knox doesn't have an invitation, but evidently Vicky Vale does, because Vicky Vale is like this big time, photographic journalist who manages to snag an invitation. So they show up. And what's the one thing that we get when we were introduced to Bruce Wayne? He basically tells Vicky Vale that he doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. And I just think that that's kind of a fun little, I guess, trope in the film. Or maybe in 80s films. But I thought it was neat that we get this introduction of Bruce Wayne, of all places, in Wayne Manor. We also get to see Alfred. We get to see what goes on with the social elite in Wayne Manor. And I love the way that they set up Wayne Manor. You get to see all the really cool rooms. You get to see that, okay, he's got a collection of stuff, like ancient weapons and that. And it was fun to kind of see the screen portray what you would see in a comic book for Wayne Manor. What did you guys think of the introduction to Bruce Wayne here in this setting?
I thought that the interaction between Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne, were what you were just talking about, where he's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know who the fuck that dude is." I think that was potentially a way for him to gain the upper hand in the conversations to come, and that he actually probably really did like Vicky at that point in time. Like, I mean, like Tim had said, who didn't at that point? And anyone who didn't, I'm going to go ahead and pull a line straight out of Monty Python's, "If you didn't, I bet you're gay." All right? So I think that he probably used that moment to be able to investigate who that was so that he could get the upper hand on her, finding out all about her instead of only Vicky knowing who Bruce Wayne was. Because if I remember correctly, in that interaction that they had in the that art room where all the old armors and weapons and things like that were,
right?
That's when he was just like basically flexing that he knew who both of them were, kind of thing,
Yeah.
I think
and that's his MO too. That's Batman's MO. He is an investigator.
But I also think that it plays into the reclusiveness of Bruce Wayne, because I mean, I think everybody knows who Bruce Wayne is. Everybody knows Bruce Wayne lives in Gotham, but I don't think everybody knows who he is on site, because here he is hosting this party at his home, and somebody like him would normally be mobbed all the time. Everybody would want to talk to him. Everybody would want to have his ear. Everybody would be trying to figure out how to get money from him for this project, that project, whatever kind of stuff. And he's pretty freely wandering around. I think he always offers up his home and things like that, but never really, I don't think he's the guy that's coming out going, "Oh, thank you everybody for coming to my home this evening, blah, blah, blah." He's always whoever's he's doing it for, you do the talking kind of stuff, because that's also why he takes on this Batman persona. He likes to fight in the shadows of the night and things like that. That's who he is. He doesn't like the spotlight. He doesn't deal well with people, I don't think, overall. I think he's got, I don't know if it's necessarily social anxiety. I just don't know if he just likes being the center of attention or having to deal with people all the time. So I think the fact that you got Vicky Vale, who is a world-renowned, photographer and reporter, she should know who Bruce Wayne is. There should be pictures of this guy. She should be able to see him on site, kind of thing. And she doesn't, which again leads me to believe that, again, Bruce kind of stays reclusive on this kind of stuff. He's happy to host, just I don't want to be in the spotlight. You could use my place, just don't make me be the speaker for this evening. This is your gala. I will fund it. You present, kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of a real telling moment. And he'll tell you who he is if he wants to mess with you a little bit. And I agree with you, Rick, that he is an investigator. He's Batman. He's got cameras all over the place, stuff like that, stuff that people wouldn't normally have in the 80s, let alone depending on where this falls, kind of stuff. It's real high tech for him. So he knows everybody's there. They've already probably vetted everybody. They kind of know who's who and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's par for the course for him to know and everybody else to find out, kind of thing.
Yeah, I have to say, I do agree with you. I think it's kind of weird that no one else would know who Bruce Wayne looks like. So he's definitely leaning more towards the Howard Hughes recluse and less like the socialite billionaire who's dating Romanian ballet dancers like we see in like The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. He's definitely more of a standoffish type of billionaire.
Well, and I think that goes with the news reporting that we see too, because we don't see a lot of cameras. Even when the mayor's presenting and things like that, it's all flash photography, which feels more like a 40s or 50s thing where there's less cameras showing up. That's actually something, far more special to have a remote camera show up to something like that. So it's only if somebody snaps pictures of you are they going to have them. And again, anytime even Bruce is always among the commissioner and the mayor and things like that, but he's always sitting at a not so prominent seat off to the side. So he could be just anybody. So, he's always invited and they kind of know who he is, but he never makes himself the center of attention. So nobody, he's like the ultimate gray man. Nobody's really paying attention to him.
Right. And while this is going on, we do get a little bit of intermixing with or slight cuts with Boss Grissom, which is played by Jack Palance. And we see an interaction between Boss Grissom and Jack Napier. And we learn that there's a laundering company that they use called Axis Chemicals. And the DA understands that Axis Chemicals is where Boss Grissom is like laundering his money from. So Jack comes up with the idea of, okay, well, why don't we go in there, break into the place, we'll steal all the records and say it's industrial espionage. So Boss Grissom tells him, that's a great idea. Here, you go. You're my number one guy. Throws his cards in his hat and sends him on his way. And then while that's going on, we find out that Commissioner Gordon now has to leave the party because he learned about Napier running into Axis Chemicals. And that's where, like you had said, we see the cameras and everything, because it's not until Alfred tells Bruce that, oh, hey, Commissioner Gordon's leaving, that we get this whole sequence of him going down to the Batcave and seeing all the cameras and stuff. And I just thought it was really cool. And this time around that I get to see some classic like JVC camera equipment, some old tube TVs. I'm like, yeah, this brings me back. I remember when this stuff looked like it was high end technology.
Closed circuit television.
Yes. So Commissioner Gordon leaves the party while Vale and Knox wander around Wayne Manor. And of course, we kind of already covered this where they run into Bruce. We find out that it was Eckhart that Boss Grissom had called, and Eckhart basically orders the men shoot to kill the mobsters at Axis, especially Jack Napier. Jack learns that they've been ratted out, and a shootout begins. Gordon shows up with his own crew and takes charge. Jack sabotages several controls on the chemical feeders, and as such to make his cover to escape. That's when we get Batman showing up with the coolest intro, where he basically breaks in through like a high ceiling area onto the catwalk, and he's got like his wings out and everything. That is just so iconic. And this whole confrontation between him and Napier on the catwalks was just it was fun. It was iconic. It was an 80s action sequence. What do you guys think of all that?
I love, first off, I love Jack Palance's Grissom. I mean, I can think of nobody else to be Jack Nicholson or Jack Napier's boss than Grissom. It's just, that guy, that guy's got a charisma about him too that feels like it's equal to, Jack Napier being portrayed by Jack Nicholson. So that was a great, interaction between the two of them. I like the very compact, super quick, down and dirty, gets you right into the betrayal of the gangsters, and it's simple, but it gets us right to where we need to be. The writing in this is so well done. It's so fluid. The pace is awesome, and the story is just rock solid, and I enjoy that. And this is a prime example of getting us to the next place we need to be in this story. And then, I think being somebody who's worked in a lab and a factory, when I see that factory, I'm just like, who's making chemicals like this? I mean, oh my God. That's where it pulls me out of reality only because of my, my work background. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's an OSHA violation. Oh my God, that's an OSHA violation. Oh, that's really an OSHA violation. Somebody's getting audited by the FDA here. Something. This is
1930s Gotham. You got to remember, you get that 1930s feel. Back then they didn't have OSHA.
I know, but
and I always, when looking at this stuff, I'm always thinking oh yeah, this shit reminds me of the Adam West stuff. I think that was the template. All right, we're gonna try to take that as the template and then move it forward to the 1980s. So what you're saying, Tim, this green shit and all this other stuff. It's dude, it don't make no sense, but it's also exactly like the 1966 Adam West Batman shit.
Yeah, it's just oozing out of the tanks everywhere and things like that. I'm just like, oh my God, I wouldn't even want to be in there because I'd be afraid just to rub up on anything to have this chemical get on me. And then these guys start shooting at each other. They're shooting through pipes. There's steam going off. There's stuff spewing out of pipes left, right, and center. I'm just like, none of these guys are going to live. And the ones that do are going to have some form of cancer before the end of the day. There's no doubt about it.
But it's cool on film.
It is cool.
You got to suspend your disbelief and just realize that, hey, this is a comic book movie. This stuff happens, in a comic book world.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the key right there. But what you guys have said is definitely the stuff that I have been thinking about. However, what you haven't mentioned was, and I don't know, we talked about it already, but this is really the first time that we really get to see the gangster costumes.
Yes.
1930s gangster costume. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but these motherfuckers rocking Tommy guns here and there throughout the movie and stuff like that. And that shit, we've talked about this before. Tommy guns are just awesome.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
No way out of the way to slice it, dude. Tommy guns are fucking cool, dude.
And I like almost all of them are using revolvers too. They're only the main henchmans have semi-auto. So most of them are rocking, very vintage, 40s, 50s revolvers.
Yeah.
But did you notice though, in pure 1980s style, none of these motherfuckers can shoot. Nobody fucking hits any shot except for your MCs and your main villains and stuff like that. Everyone else just sucks. But
well, I mean, come on. I mean, it's not just stormtroopers that can't shoot. It's just all the bad guys of the world.
Yeah. They all go to the same trainers.
Yeah.
The cool thing here is that, and I know we just said green, what the fuck is up with a green fucking chemical and stuff, and who got a power plant where they fucking mix a bunch of chemicals in order to make energy like that? You know what I'm saying? What the heck is going on here? Is this Final Fantasy fucking 7?
Yeah, I don't think they're making energy though. They're making some kind of chemical. It's a chemical plant.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
They're making deodorant and mouthwash and all these other chemicals that you would see.
Exactly. But I don't know if you noticed though that green chemical, that as well as I'm pretty sure that it was encased in purple fucking metal. You have purple and green everywhere, everywhere in this place. Even the exit sign. I don't know if you guys caught that. The video that I was playing, it actually just by sure happenstance paused on right when the spot where the Joker was thinking about leaving. It paused in that scene where it actually showcased the exit sign, so he was thinking about going to it. And it was outlined, the exit sign was outlined in, I think it was green, but it was written in purple. The word exit was written in
Okay.
purple. So you have this very intentional color schematic or color thematic going through this entire scene of the purple and green, which I thought was really, 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 really cool. I mean, because we know what's coming. So super good. And I cannot go without saying that what Tim had said about getting pieces of the backstory as we go is super vital to making this movie like really, really, really top notch, because there's a shit ton of backstory happening, and we don't get overloaded with backstory and exposition like right away. We basically get action sequences, a lot of cutscenes. I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a lot of cutscenes of back and forth. Like, instead of having a full, 5-10 minute scene where it showcases what's going on here, it's like 2-3 minutes of what's going on here with like a 30-second to 1 minute, 60-second clip of what is going on over there that is going to lead to the next thing happening, or going to further the plot or the backstory or whatever's going on. Like, and it's constantly happening. So it makes it really, really, really easy to really get sucked in and not get kind of, I wouldn't say there's nothing really here that's boring, but it keeps my ADHD brain moving. I'll just say it like that. Okay.
It's streamlined storytelling.
Yes.
It was written with a thought in mind that we want to show as much as possible, as quickly as possible, to still keep the story moving along. And I got to hand it to Tim Burton. I got to hand it to the writers. They did a great job moving along, especially since this movie had so many writers going through this, that they were just able to keep this pace moving and introduce the characters, show the dynamic, conflict between them all, and then just keep moving it forward and forward. And yeah, you hit that right on the head, Rick. And I think that's great. I kind of want to go back a little bit. Tim had mentioned how all the mobsters have that like 30s look, and everyone kind of has that like gray suit or dark suit or dark brown suit. And it's not until after this sequence that we see that significant change with the bad guys because of what happens in these next couple minutes. I just think it's neat that we see the progression of them being under Boss Grissom and the classic mobsters to when they eventually evolve into the new antagonist of the Joker. And I just think that that's really kind of cool. And I never really noticed it, Rick, but I'm glad you kind of pointed out the little subtle hints of color in this sequence because of the creation of our Joker in this sequence. And let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. So what do you guys think of the whole fight sequence between Jack here and Batman, and how he kind of does that classic, I'm going to disappear and then I'm going to come back and then we're going to have a little bit of a fight and then you're going to fall. Personally, I think this was a great sequence because we get to see the creation of the Joker, and on top of that, we kind of see what triggers everything with, him shooting at the Batman and causing steam and glass, and we get to see him kill somebody to really show that he is psychotic. What do you guys think of the creation of the Joker?
It's a Mexican standoff to see who could wait the longest.
All right, I'll go. I was trying to give you a chance, Rick. I was like, I'll let Rick take this
go
one.
for it. Go for it. No, go for it.
I mean, this is, if I understand correctly, this is a pretty common theme on the way that the Joker is created. So I don't think that this was a big surprise for the fan base, per se. But it needs to happen. I think the bigger thing is the understanding for people that aren't as familiar, especially me at the time, that, Batman creates the Joker. Not on purpose. He tries to save him. He really does. He tries to put his, best foot forward, or I guess best, arm forward, but it's just not enough. And the Joker falls in.
Take my strong hand.
Yeah, exactly. But, but there's no love lost when he falls in. The Batman's kind of like, well, I guess that sucks. But, and I have to ask them, I'm like, who's keeping a giant open steaming vat of chemical. I don't know what that chemical was, but it wasn't good, and
the mob owned that place. That's why there was no OSHA. We had to cut corners.
Right. It's just
It's that same chemical shit that's in Rick and Morty.
Right.
They fake their deaths in, bro.
And then, this is the final moment where again, the person who's worked in, basically in a factory with, such things is we get basically, we see him go down into the vat. And then the next scene is him coming back out of the river with the hand coming up and it's all white. And I'm just like, okay, not only is there stuff oozing all over the place in this, but then they're just dumping it into the river. Like, there's another OSHA violation. Yeah. The EPA.
Where's EPA?
Right. Exactly. I was so disturbed by that at a level I can't even describe. It's like, this is all wrong on so many levels. But again, that's my problem and not every other listeners out there. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not a surprise. We all know this is going to happen if you're a Batman fan. But I think for anybody that doesn't, it does an excellent job of getting them up to speed on how the Joker becomes the Joker. It was very well done. And it's very quick, dirty, down. We get him out. Hand comes out of the water. Okay, we know the Joker's. We know, Jack Napier's still alive, and his hand don't look right no more. He is white as white can be. So something's not right.
Yeah, I because I really didn't read any of the literature on Batman up to this point. I've only at this point in my life, and even right now, as I still am not very versed in the backstory of Joker and stuff like that, and how Joker was created. This worked for me. It was enough for me to understand what the heck was going on. Obviously, considering the acid, you kind of probably would imagine that this dude would probably have been melted down to bone, but it totally works. It's like, okay, it takes off his skin to some extent and turns him white like powder. That movie from the 90s.
Right.
Nice.
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
But I thought it was cool, man. I thought it was really, really, really cool. And and after this scene, that's where Batman somehow lands himself a date.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Because apparently Batman has Riz and, or I should say Bruce Wayne. Because, the next morning, we get a nice cut sequence. After all this happens, we get the establishment of, something happened to Jack Napier. The next morning, Knox learns of the events at Axis Chemicals and the possibility that Batman was involved. That same morning, Vicky Vale reveals that she has a date with Bruce Wayne. And I'm like, okay, so it's just a throwaway line. We don't get to see any courtship. We don't get to see any establishment of him like sending a letter, like saying, "Hey, I really like your stuff. You want to come to the mansion? We want to have some dinner here. It'd be kind of nice." No, we just get right off the bat. She just says, "Yeah, I got a date with Bruce Wayne," and then she just takes off. And of course, we get then cut to dinner at the mansion. And I gotta say, this is where we kind of see a little bit of Michael Keaton's humor with the way he kind of portrays some like classic jokes. We had this long dinner table, and Vicky Vale's like, "Can you pass the salt?" And he like walks down the freaking table to hand her the salt. It's kind of funny. There's a little bit of fun in this sequence, but not only do we get the fun of this, but we get kind of more of a human look at Bruce Wayne, because he basically tells her that this is the first time I've actually been in this room. Let's get out of here. Let's go have dinner with at a smaller table. And he takes her to his father figure, and I just thought that this is a very, I don't know, like, "Hey Dad, here's my date" kind of scenario, because Alfred is the guy who raised Bruce, kind of ingrained him in some type of, I don't know, moral code or something. I just thought that this was a very telling scene of Bruce Wayne's own humanity and seeking approval in a way to Vicky Vale. And they exchange stories. They talk about different stuff. I just thought this was a very humanizing point in the movie. Did I read too much into this? I don't know, but that's kind of always how I felt about this sequence.
No way. I think you're right on the money here. Because I kind of felt the same thing. Whether or not it was the intent that Bruce Wayne kind of filters out his dates with something along this lines, like, okay, someone's going to get a date and maybe they're just kind of for the experience. And you get to see, from what I kind of felt, is that it also showed a bit of the, real nature, the true and just homely nature of Vicky Vale. Like, she's not that type of person to just be so vain, and that she was like, is this like really what you're down with kind of thing? And he's like, nah, fuck this place. I've never been here before. So it was so much more inviting and intimate when you get to see the two of them eating in the servants' quarter or the servants' kitchen with Alfred. And it seemed like they were telling stories. And after this scene, you get the feeling through the dialogue that happens between Alfred and Bruce Wayne that she left a very good impression. Like she was a true person, like a real person, like someone who actually is down to earth, and that kind of meant a lot. I think that really, for me personally, I thought that was like really, really, really good. She was already very stunning as an actress and through the character and through her wardrobe and everything like that. But this brought that character, I think, up to another level of, in my opinion, of the classic feminine character.
I think this scene, I think if I want to back up just a little further to answer your question, Matt. You're like, oh, well, we don't get anything as far as, the love interest. Just also she has a date. She does introduce herself. He makes a comment that he's seen her work before and things like that. So I think this is where you take that kind of just understanding step that he probably wanted to have a date with her. And he said, Alfred said, hey, Mr. Wayne would like you to come for dinner. He'd love to see some of your work, blah, blah, blah. Of course, she's not going to turn that down because it's the reclusive Bruce Wayne, right? So I think this is probably, as you kind of point out, maybe the poorest point in the movie, and I'm willing to let that go with the understanding that that's probably what happened. He probably sent Alfred with the invitation kind of deal, because I could see him rolling like that. And then I think to Rick's point where they're having dinner at that long table, which was actually his idea. That was one of his comedic chops. He's like, let's lighten this up just a little bit, not too much because we don't want to make it campy, but them sitting at a really long table and kind of trying to talk and then bringing the salt and stuff. And then her being like, I think this is the line that sums it all up, that you realize he is not only a social recluse, but he's not comfortable in the Bruce Wayne skin. And it's when she says, this house doesn't really seem like you. And he looks at her and says, well, some of it isn't, but some of it is. And I think that line is so telling because the some of it isn't is the house itself. The some of it that is the Batcave. That's who he is. That's where he's comfortable. That's where I think he likes to spend all of his time. The Wayne Manor is, again, it's as uncomfortable for him as being in the social spotlight. And so I think that line tells a lot, but you got to be willing to read into it and realize what he's saying as far as that goes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The banner is his facade. His true core is the Batcave. So, yeah, you hit it perfectly. And I got to say, I like how this is kind of like a nice quiet moment in the story. We get a little, like I said, a little more humanizing. And then it's kind of juxtaposed with the creation, not only with the creation of the Joker, but Joker's somewhat reveal. I mean, because, we saw the last thing we seen of Jack was his hand come out of the river. And now we get to see the Joker born. The Joker is, about to kind of reveal himself. Jack's going to take some revenge. Jack is back in a room of surgery somewhere in the slums. And this sequence I'm always reminded of, and I'm gonna go right to it, is The Simpsons.
I know, it's going to go right there with you, man, right there.
I'm like, yeah, every time I see this scene, I'm reminded of when they make fun of it on The Simpsons. And, it's the slums of Gotham. He's all bandaged up. he has that mental break and he's frantically asking for a mirror, at which point his doctor is scared of Jack. And he hands Jack the mirror, and Jack breaks the mirror and just starts laughing like crazy. He breaks the light and he's walking out. And every time I see it, I'm reminded of when they did it on The Simpsons and Lisa starts laughing and she breaks the mirror and she walks out. And I'm like, this is perfect. I like this. This is capturing the Joker to a T.
Yeah. I like too when he's like, look, you have to understand the tools that I'm working with. They point over to that little tray. And I'm like, what is that? There's like a fish scaler on there. And that one of the things looks like a real surgical tool to me. So I'm like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just kind of cool that we see that, and it's juxtaposing, the Bruce with the Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale's date, that evening, how they have the humanistic moment. But this is the point where a human is breaking down. A human is becoming truly psychotic. And I just thought that this was a great back and forth.
I don't think it's a breakdown as much as it's I'm free. Like, this is it. Like, this is the final thread to me being weighed down by society and their rules. Jack Napier is dead, and I now am going to work completely outside of the social norms. Nothing, there is no rules. There is no law for me. I am free to do whatever I want. And because he's still somewhat reserved when he's Jack Napier, but once he turns into the Joker, man, it's a whole new persona that comes out of there, because it doesn't matter. He just starts acting like a screwball, joking all the time, and just creating all kinds of crazy gadgets that he's using. So I think it's a freeing moment as much as maybe it's a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I think he even says that. I think he made comments about like in his death, his rebirth gave him immense amount of freedom or something along those lines. I think he actually says that. So yeah, definitely.
Definitely, and for sure, 100%. Yes.
100% of
Fully
the time.
Agree.
It's 60% of the time. It's for sure. Nah, he's chaos incarnate, and Jack Nicholson absolutely fucking nails this shit. I mean, he brings forth the nonsense that he pulled in The Shining, and you can actually see it. The parallels are stunning, but he is just chaos incarnate. I think he pulls in a little bit of the what was the name? Caesar something. Well, what was
Cesar Romero?
Cesar Romero's kind of take on Joker, and then he just dials that shit up, man. It's so good. It's so believable, and it plays perfectly into the chaos that Joker is said to represent.
Yes.
I thought it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And start to finish, as soon as he becomes the Joker, it's like it's on, man. Everything that he's doing, I could only imagine how much extra stuff that Jack Nicholson puts into this character, and I don't know if we'll ever know, but I would imagine that the lines alone probably aren't what we're seeing on the screen. That there's probably more here, some more ad-libbing that is done in order to actually bring this character fully to life.
Oh yeah, because it has to be freeing to him, because essentially once he's out of the Jack Napier part of the character and he's into the Joker, it doesn't matter what he does because nothing's wrong. So Jack can ad-lib or act as goofy or as crazy as he wants, and it's all going to fit the form. It's all going to fit the mold. So I think as an actor, he's stated that Joker's one of his all-time favorite characters, and I'm sure it's because it offered him so much freedom to just be as crazy as he wanted to be, and it didn't matter. It just, actually, the crazier the better. So I'm sure it was a really awesome role to play.
Well, and we kind of get that. We get that whole introduction of how crazy he becomes, because he goes back to Grissom's place, and he walks in, and this is where we get the really cool reveal. We get to see what the prosthetics were used to create his new structure of his face, and the fact that he comes in, it's all dark. Grissom thinks that it's Alicia coming in, and then he just kind of like walks into the light and just shines right on him, and you see how screwed up he is now, and he just starts dancing and firing his gun right into Grissom. And I just think it was a key point that they even played the circus music over the top of this, and he's dancing around. I'm just like, this is the Joker that we now have our antagonist for this movie.
And he's not even shooting the gun like a normal person. I mean, he does once, but then he's like shooting it over his head and around his back and stuff. Like he's just, he's having a good old time with it because it don't matter now. He just, I can do whatever I want and I can make it as entertaining as I want while I do it.
Yep.
The thing that I'm not sure exactly how I feel because he let loose more. He pulled the trigger and let loose more bullets than he had in the chamber. I don't know if you noticed that, but he shot, I think it was 7 times. And he was like, when he got to that 7th time, he even made a little, I'm out of bullets kind of look to it. And I don't know how I necessarily feel about it. I would imagine someone with his skill would probably just instinctively know how many rounds are in the chamber left based on the number of times that he pulled the trigger. But, he has definitely changed. So, I don't know. Yeah. Tim, did you think anything of that?
I guess I didn't really count. I was just so enthralled with the scene. But my only counter to that would be, I guess it depends what kind of gun he has. Most time it looks like he's shooting a 38. Like originally, Jack Napier's gun is like a Colt. I think it's like a police special or something like that, which would be a 6-shot one. But when he goes in to shoot, Grissom, if he has a smaller gun, like say like a 22, I actually own a 22 that has 9 rounds in it. That's a revolver. So there are revolvers that have more rounds in them. So I guess it just depends on what kind of gun you have. But that's the only one I've ever had like that. In fact, that may be the only one I've ever seen like that, honestly. It's a kind of an oddball one, but it is a possibility that if he didn't have his gun from, the chemical plant and he just picked this one up along the way, it might not have been his standard Colt because later on, when we see him as the Joker, he starts carrying around a Smith & Wesson 38 with him, which is a different one. So, and I'll get into that later in more detail, but that's my only explanation as to how he could have more shots.
I really didn't pay attention to the gun when he was shooting Grissom, but I felt like it was a semi-automatic. Like maybe it might have been like, I don't know, a 15-shot, clip.
If it was a semi-auto, it could have been a Colt, which would have had 7 rounds in it.
Oh, okay.
So that would make sense then.
Gotcha. Well, then, the next morning, wait, I can't gloss over this, but, after he shoots Grissom and kills him, we get that iconic line as he's standing there or sitting at Grissom's desk where he wipes the newspaper off and he goes, "Winged bat menaces society. Wait till they get a load of me."
Yeah. That was nice. John Wayne there, by the way.
Thanks. My John Wayne and my Jack Nicholson kind of sound a little the same.
Right.
Yeah, when I was looking up the cast here, I noticed that there was a number of actors that actually were in these Western movies in the past, whether they be John Wayne or Clint Eastwood movies. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but a lot of the cast come from that type of movie background.
Wasn't the mayor from like a Westerns or something like that? Because he looks a little bit like Eli Wallach, but I can't remember his name.
I mean, are you counting City Slickers with Jack Palance?
No. That was one, though, yeah.
Right. But no, I guess I didn't pick up as many of them because there's so many other people to focus on. I mean, we didn't really get into it, but I mean, really, if you look at the cast, it's huge. Michael Keaton, it's Jack Nicholson, it's Kim Basinger. I mean, Robert Wills, he's that guy that from that thing. You've seen him enough to know who he is. You got Billy D, who it really didn't get enough screen time as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it was really kind of almost a waste for him, but glad to see him in there.
I almost felt like he was like. I mean, this is the era where you have the one token minority, so you've got the one African-American guy, you've got the one Asian guy, and it's just...
But I mean, who else do we got in there?
Put him up for stunt casting, they're like, hey, we need somebody with some more clout, some more name, presence.
I mean, I imagine some of these people they're probably just Batman fans that just want to be in it regardless anyway. There's quite a bit of that going on, but I mean, even there's a couple more in there. I mean, if you look at it, Tracy Walter, Bob the Goon. Again, you can't quite place him, but he's that guy from that thing. You've seen him before too. And I think, isn't he fairly well known too. I feel like he was in some stuff. Michael
Alfred.
Yeah.
Alfred is actually a famous British actor.
Okay.
Named Michael Gough.
Yeah.
And he comes back to some of Tim Burton's films. He was in Sleepy Hollow. He played one of the townspeople in Sleepy Hollow. But his
Zorro, bro.
What's that?
He was in Zorro, bro.
Yep. Yeah. One of his big highlights for science fiction fans is he plays in Doctor Who during the first Doctor, he plays the Celestial Toymaker, who has a reprised role in the modern era played by Neil Patrick Harris. So I just kind of think that it's kind of neat that, we get some British history here.
All right. Yeah. But yeah, it's that's a lot of cast. That is a huge amount of stars for a comic book film. I mean, this is before comic book films are cool. In fact, when we get to the next one, Batman Returns, man, that star power gets whittled down real fast. I mean, there's only about 4 major names in there then.
Yes.
Thanks for
agreeing. Back to back to the Joker. So the Joker kills our mob boss. Basically, he's starting to take control of the mob, and we cut back to Vicky and Bruce. Vicky sees something kind of unusual in the fact that Bruce is like wearing some gravity boots or something, and he's hanging upside down like a bat, and he falls asleep on the couch, and Vicky invites him out to go have lunch or something together, and Bruce is like, oh no, I got a business meeting, I got to take care of some stuff. And then on her way out the door, Alfred goes, oh no, we're fine, we're here, there's no meeting or anything,
we're just chilling.
Kind of throws it kind of throws Vicky off a little bit. So she starts to she wants to figure out what's going on. She starts to follow Bruce. And that's when Bruce gets to see the resurrected Jack Napier, a.k.a. Joker, when the Joker attacks City Hall and kills some of Boss Grissom's partners. I thought it was very telling as to how much Bruce is just kind of socially inept, because after he sees, Jack the Joker is back, or Jack is back, and he's just standing there while bullets are going off everywhere. I'm like, wouldn't you at least taken cover or done something? But no, he's just standing there, like just completely dumbstruck.
I think he's too used to wearing that fucking bat armor, and he's like, I'm fucking good, probably,
I think he's just kind of dumbfounded. He's just like, what is this all about? Like, who is this guy? I think he's just really more, I think he's intrigued. I think he's like, I need to get a better look kind of thing. I think he just forgets about the safety of the situation. And it's just like, who is this guy? Where did this guy come from? So I think he's just, again, it just takes him by surprise to the point that he just disregards his personal safety to try to wrap his mind around what he's seeing.
Gotcha.
In this scene, did the Joker say his final catchphrase for right before he kills someone? Because I can't remember if he did. And if he did, then it very well could be, whether he said this or not, it could very well could be one of those moments that people have when they're like, I know you from somewhere. But
no,
I don't
he doesn't
know where.
We don't see the catchphrase until a little later on. Here he basically says, the pen is mightier than the sword, and he throws pen
which is such a great line.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I gotta say, the writers did a great job giving the Joker all these really cool one-liners and stuff, and I think it kind of helps deliver the true character of the Joker.
Well, how many movies do you see somebody kill somebody with? It's not even a pen; it's a quill. He literally throws a quill at him and kills him. I mean, we're not going to see this again until John Wick, where they're like, he killed a guy with a pencil.
Negative. There was a film that came out in the early 2000s, if I remember correctly. It was called Pitch Black, followed by The Chronicles of Riddick. And in The Chronicles of Riddick, this motherfucker killed a bunch of dudes in a prison with a fucking cup. and then he threatened them.
Right.
He threatened them with a fucking pin.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a pin. It was a turnkey from it, like a can of tuna or something.
Yes. They fucking freaked out. So I have to dispute.
Okay, all right. So there's three. So like once a decade, we get one in the 80s, one in the 90s, and one in the I don't know, was it 2000s? Yeah, roughly. So
you can't forget the Heath Ledger moment where he made the pencil disappear in The Dark Knight.
All right, you guys have just completely unraveled my entire statement. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Jack did it first.
Yeah,
Jack did it first. I'll give you
but
that.
it's with a quill. I'm going to stand by
Yes.
that. I have never seen another movie where somebody kills somebody with a thrown quill.
No, not with a quill. No, but quills are sharp though.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
They are. Yeah.
That'd be like death by playing card, you know.
Yeah.
Now that would have been up his alley as well.
And I kind of want to loop back a little bit. So, Vicky's following Bruce around, and I think this is also where, Vicky almost kind of falls more in love with Bruce, because she's following him around. She sees that he lays roses down on a sidewalk, and so now she's like contacting Knox to find out what happened on that street. And I'm almost wondering if she's kind of sensing that Bruce Wayne has, childhood trauma. And for some odd reason, it seems like 80s female characters are attracted to male characters who have childhood trauma. It seems to be like a trope throughout a lot of 80s films.
The only thing I gotta say about this scene is that why the fuck did a photographer not take a picture and then put that picture in black and white, showcasing only in color the roses, the backdrop of the sidewalk? That, I don't know. Me personally, that right there was just like, come on, man. That's like, that would have been like the perfect thing for someone who is, by the way, stalking Bruce Wayne and then seeing what he's up to and then being like, oh damn, like that's like a moment, you know what I mean? And for me personally, as a person like showcasing a photographer, that would have been what a photographer would have done. They would have got their camera out. They would have took a picture of that because it's so meaningful, you know?
So she should have Schindler listed this?
Yeah, man. I'm just saying. By
Is
the way, that's
the right term?
Is that Schindler's List? Is that in the book of 1001?
I think so.
Oh my.
I think, didn't you just basically describe like Patrick Nagel's artwork from the 80s, like the Duran Duran cover guy? Is that what they did? Like they'd have like a rose on a black background like that or something. I think that's like a big 80s look right there. You nailed it. You nailed it. That would go right along with, Michelle Pfeiffer's look there or whatever. But I don't know. And I think isn't that whole alley thing where he leaves the roses, like that doesn't go all the way back to the early Batman. I think that was kind of incorporated somewhere in the 70s, wasn't it, Matthew? Where they kind of started doing that. It was more of a recent development in the Batman storylines.
The 1985 Batman, when Frank Miller took over in year one, basically he wrote a story in year one which took Batman back to his origins, and he left a rose in Crime Alley to signify when his parents had died. And that's when that's when Frank Miller really drove home the whole pearls falling off of Martha's neck when she was killed by Joe Chill. And now it's like we're constantly bombarded with the pearl sequence in every freaking Batman movie and adaptation. And you name it, Batman is synonymous with pearls now because of Frank Miller and the whole rose thing.
I like the rose scene, though. I mean, I think it's a key pivotal moment. It shows a moment of vulnerability with him, and with her following him around, it gives her a clue as to figure out, what's going on with this guy. Like, what's his major malfunction? Because after watching him just stand around while a guy's shooting up, City Hall and stuff, and not even showing any fear, and not being completely honest with, where he's going or what he's doing or anything like that. So I think it gave that moment for her to, dig in a way to his past that seems believable in an age not yet, engulfed with computers. I mean, because again, Batman's the only one that seems to like he really has computers, and everybody else pretty much is still reading newspapers and things like that. So it's not really easy to get a lot of information on somebody like that.
Yeah. Well, especially when she like goes back to Knox and she asks Knox about the alley, and he hands her a manila envelope with like Wayne written on it. I'm like, that's old school. You know, we got catalogs and cabinets full of files that she's trying to dig stuff up with.
But it's not even cabinets. The dumbest thing about that whole scene is he takes the file from her and puts it back in the little filing cabinet, and it's a drawer about the size of my junk drawer in the kitchen. It's not even like a full filing cabinet. It's just like, okay, you live in this giant city, but apparently there's not enough to even fill an entire filing cabinet worth of files on people within it. It just was the dumbest shit I'd ever seen.
Well, you know, since we're talking about files, here's another thing that I thought was kind of neat. So, you know, Bruce returns home and he asks Alfred for a glass of water. You know, he has this whole conversation with Alfred. He tells him that, hey, you know, Jack Napier is alive. Do me a favor. Can you get all the information the cops have on Jack Napier? So does that mean that Alfred's got like connections inside the police department, or is he like, you know, sneaking in there, breaking in at night, grabbing files out of the file cabinet down in the file room? You know, that's what I wanted to know is like, how is Alfred getting these files to Bruce?
Yeah, but I think you should know that being a comic book guy, Matt, because the Commissioner Gordon / Batman Bruce Wayne, I shouldn't say Batman, Bruce Wayne relationship is pretty synonymous, I believe, you know, my understanding throughout all the comics, you know, through all the years. Like that's been a pretty consistent thing. In fact, my understanding is early on is that supposedly right after his parents are killed, it's Commissioner, then I think Beat Cop Gordon, who like basically finds him and kind of like comforts him and things like that. So I think they established this. Now, whether Gordon knows he's Batman or not, I don't really know. But I'm thinking if they got a good enough relationship that if Bruce wants something, he'll send Alfred down and Alfred maybe can get it from him, or Bruce can get it from him himself, you know. And I'm pretty sure Bruce probably funds the police enough that he's like, I just don't ask a question. That's a good guy, whatever he wants, because he's just this
right.
eccentric millionaire that wants to know something that's going on, you know, yeah, fine, you know, because he's buying us, you know, shields and revolvers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, does that make sense? Because your comic background is way better than mine.
Well, yeah. There is a relationship between the two. But that was post Batman 89, you know, where they kind of fleshed out more that story. You know, originally, you know, the whole relationship between the city council and Bruce Wayne was he was like this guy that would, you know, send money over to the police chief's ball. You know, he was this there as a socialite and less as, you know, some kind of person of I don't know, industry in Gotham. After this 89 movie, they kind of fleshed out more of the characters. The writers kind of came along and said, hey, let's try doing this. Let's do that. And that's where we got more of the Gordon and Wayne relationship. You know, there was some more backstory that was fleshed out in this, but, you know, coming from a viewpoint of back in 89, it was like, it seemed very weird for Alfred to go off and get these files. But again, you know, I'm one of those little nitpicks that I can suspend disbelief and realize that, hey, you know, maybe Alfred talked to a guy, because Alfred at one point in his career was a SAS officer. Maybe he made friends with people in you know, Gotham while taking care of the Waynes. Who knows?
All right, fair enough.
So let's see, where was I at? Oh, Rick, any thoughts on Bruce getting the files, or even Vicky Vale, you know, talking about Bruce's past?
No, I thought it was kind of, I didn't really actually even give it too much thought that Alfred was able to conjure up this information. It just kind of made sense that, you know, this is, like I said before, this is the MO of Batman conducting investigations. We already know that he has a considerable amount of surveillance equipment. So whether it was due to the surveillance equipment to some extent, as well as the political connections that he holds through the Justice Department of Gotham, that he probably wouldn't have. I just wouldn't see him having too much problem getting this type of information. It's probably, for the most part, I imagine most of the stuff, the rap sheet on Jack Napier was public knowledge, I would imagine. Not public knowledge, but public record, to some extent.
Gotcha.
And the rest of the stuff is probably like Tim said, or whichever one of you two said, that he's probably making sizable donations to the police department. So if Alfred comes knocking and is like, hey, so you know about this motherfucker.
Who are you talking about? How about if I give you this 20? Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that Jack Napier.
Yeah,
I know that guy.
Look, I don't have another 20. I got a 10. Can I lend you? Can I borrow a 10 off you?
Yeah, more like 10,000. Here's let me write you this check for $10,000. Now, can you do you know anything about Jack Napier?
Yeah.
It's a good superpower to have.
Yes. So Vicky Vale is now investigating Bruce Wayne, and the Joker actually sent out his goon Bob to follow Knox, who in turn took pictures of Vicky Vale. And then Bob returns to the Joker and shows the Joker all of his photos. And that's when Joker learns about Vicky Vale. And it, like all the male characters in this movie, falls in love with her. And he's like cutting pictures out and, just basically being the Joker. We get the establishment that, okay, so now we're going to have this somewhat kind of love triangle thing happening where Vicky Vale loves Bruce Wayne and the Joker loves Vicky Vale. So we're setting this whole sequence up where somebody's going to collide with somebody. Meanwhile, we cut back to Axis Chemicals, Tim's favorite OSHA freeze place. And we see the Joker is mass producing chemicals and sending them out into Gotham. And that's when we learn that, oh, hey, something's happening in Gotham, where we learn that the Joker is now killing people in Gotham through beauty products because two models have perished. And right there on the news reports, we see a woman die who is also a newscaster, who is also, Tim, did you recognize her?
I did not.
Okay. Fast forward to the TV series Dead Like Me. She is her big.
Oh, okay. All right.
As in her big brown eyes.
Right.
I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah. But a much younger version of her. Yeah, I didn't even put that together. Not just say it, I totally see it.
And then we get this really cool 80s low budget commercial where Joker is talking about Brand X and, hey, you're going to love our stuff. It'll put a smile on your face.
Smile X.
That whole commercial reminded me of Beetlejuice. There's just something about it that just has that Beetlejuice feel to it.
Not only is he making commercials, but it's got all the graphics and stuff, but all his goons are coordinated. Now, like, all of a sudden everybody's got like the 80s, like Letterman jackets, but they're not for school. They're for the Joker with the nice embroidered patches and stuff. Like, he's been in power for like a week. And,
Yep.
Everything is, there's Joker cars, Joker the coat. He's now got his own, basic chemical line and things like that. It's really fun. The whole plant is now decked out because you look at it and go, oh, he's not in the building. I think he's at the chemical plant. So I just find it's interesting that the branding is almost instantaneous to the world of Joker, And then there's little things in this too that if you're paying attention, why he's at his Axis Chemical, hideout. If you look in the table, you'll see like a CIA folder that actually I think has to do with the Smilex chemical. And that's where it leads me back to my statement that, Joker's actually super smart. I think we find that most really, really psychotic criminals are actually pretty super smart. That takes us back to the Silence of the Lambs being a prime example, of another one, these really methodical, crazy, guys that are super hard to catch. So the Joker he's got, obviously he has some kind of science background. He's very intelligent and he's creating these chemicals and stuff. And, he's obviously stealing things from the CIA for this whatever it is, nerve gas kind of stuff that's, killing people. So I think there's little interesting tidbits if you're really paying attention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bruce even mentions it after he's reviewing the files that he has. He's like, "Oh, Jack Napier has a science background. He's not only an artist, but he's also he knows chemistry. He knows this, he knows that." So I'm like, "Yeah, you kind of hit it right there." And then you kind of tell us in the exposition of it all, which I think is great. Rick, you got any thoughts?
I don't really have necessarily any thoughts on like the transition here, except that in the subsequent, well, no, I do, because this was actually the sequence that we talked about earlier, where you have, because the newscasters are fucking dying on in the middle of on air, that the subsequent scene that we get before we get the museum scene, they're basically wearing no makeup. You see all their imperfections on air, their wrinkles, their blemishes, and the true color of bags underneath their eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool, but this does lead into that museum scene where you get to really see like how free, chaotic, and crazy that Joker is, and how that influences his gang. Like, he's crazy, so the whole rest of them are also gonna just kind of also follow suit, and no pun intended, but go crazy as well inside that museum. All the while, instead of, like you said, having those 1930 outfits, they're rocking these super cool 1980s, early 1990s type of get-ups, 1980s and 1990s type of get-ups with rocking the Prince music,
Yes.
This was specific. And by the way, this is Prince before he was known as the artist music, which I believe, unless I'm mistaken, is the same studio that owned his likeness in perpetuity, and that's why he became the artist. Now, I'm not saying that it was because of the work that he probably was either cajoled or forced to do here for this movie. I don't know if he was necessarily super into Batman. I don't know either way, and I'm not saying that this is the reason, but I am saying that 2-3 years down, I think it was 2 years down the road, that's when he makes his initial separation from Warner Brothers, owned the identity Prince.
Gotcha. Well, I can tell you for a fact that Prince loved this movie. He was commissioned by Peter Green, who was a producer, to provide music for the movie, and he was only commissioned to do one song, and that's this song, the one where the Joker comes into the museum. However, he loved the script, what he could see of it. He loved all the like the props, the makeups, and everything, that it inspired him to write 8 other songs. So when they released the soundtrack for Batman, there was actually 2 soundtracks. There was the score, and then there was the soundtrack. The soundtrack had all 9 Prince songs on there. So he was excited to do this, and that's awesome. The creative juices were flowing, as they say.
My wife was very excited after we watched this for the podcast, and I was forced to go to bed listening to the Prince Batman soundtrack.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you know what? You cracked open the museum scene, so let's go ahead and dive into that. I love the fact that, like, again, this is where we get the first Prince song. Going into this, you're thinking, okay, well, Vicky Vale's got a date with Bruce Wayne, but Bruce didn't realize he has a date with her, so she shows up to the museum, and right off the bat, when we see the set of the museum, when she walks through that door, I feel like she's walking into a bank, because there's just something about that scene where you get the scope of the building, and it just looks huge, and the door itself has like these round features to it, much like you would see like in a vault or a safe or something like that. And I just thought, this is a really cool set, and
it feels very classic Gotham.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's a museum that also has a restaurant in it because she's going to go eat at the restaurant inside the museum. And I'm like, I don't know of any museums that have like a full service restaurant with a maitre d' and everything. And then I got thinking,
that's some hipster shit, man.
I don't know.
You know.
It feels like it goes back to like a 30s or 40s thing because all the paintings are right there. Like there's no guards around the paintings. The statues are sitting in pedestals. Like that modern day, no, that ain't happening. But I feel like in the 30s or 40s, that could have been a thing. That whole setup like they had in certain metropolitan areas, it's very upscale. Like we can put the art out. Nobody's going to mess with it and things like that. So I thought it had that feel to it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put this out here and see if you guys can tell what other major movie, well, maybe it wasn't a major movie, but in my eyes, it is a super big movie having to deal with featuring some Glenn Miller songs. Very mysterious movie. Technically a miniseries. Backed by a very famous author.
I'm sure where this is going, but okay, I have no idea.
Are you talking about like the
Tim, you should know. You should know the name of this movie series, the miniseries. It's like a movie. It's very long, very mysterious, very scary, and it features a haunted house. Nothing?
I am so drawing a blank on this.
Rose Red.
Oh,
The Glenn Miller song that's playing in the museum is the same Glenn Miller song that's featured in Stephen King's Rose Red. That was a 2 or 3 part miniseries.
Yeah.
By the way, one of my absolute favorite like horror, scary, I'd say scary, not horror, but scary movies that are out there. One of my absolute favorites. If you're looking for a very good scary movie, I highly, highly, highly recommend Rose Red.
Is this your segue into a what are you watching?
No, it is not. I've not watched this in a long time. Okay. I have seen that movie a number of times. It, like I said, it's kind of long, but it's really, really good. It's got some really mysterious vibes, and I was kind of surprised to hear some Glenn Miller playing in the background.
Nice. Well, let me put this question to you guys. So you're sitting there, you're waiting for your date, and your date hasn't shown up in probably like a half an hour, maybe an hour. You're still sitting there. You have a glass of water, and suddenly a box shows up and from the maitre d', and on there is a note that says "urgent," written in a very scary handwriting. And you open it up, and there's a gas mask that says "put this on." Are you going to put that on?
I think I'd do the same thing that she did. I think I'd look at that and be like, "What the hell?" And then as soon as I see that purple gas starting to come out of the the vents, yeah, I'm putting it on. I'm going to take the chance. But if I don't see the gas coming out, I'm probably not going to do it. And if it's a, silent but deadly gas, then I'm probably going to die.
My same thought too. I had like thoughts of like Saw. I'm like, if I had a gas mask, I didn't see the purple smoke, I'd be afraid to put it on because I wouldn't know if there was like something that was going to inject
tainted with something,
blades into my face or something.
Yeah.
So,
but
yeah. So we get purple smoke again. Colors. We got some purple smoke. We got some interesting wardrobe as the Joker comes in with his crew, and they play, like I said, the Prince song. And this has got to be Jack just having fun because he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, he's like imitating dancing while in a pose from a statue, and then he like knocks the statue over. He's painting on top of artwork. I mean, he had to have had some fun. I mean, it seemed like the confinement of a character gets slipped off in this sequence.
I think his goons have more fun than he does because my understanding is Jack's an actual big purveyor of the arts. And it pained him, even though I'm sure, these are obviously not original paintings. It actually pained him to deface artwork like this. It was probably the only thing that made him a little bit uncomfortable. And I don't know when they come to that one painting while they're walking up the stairs and they get ready to do something to it. He's like, nope, not that one. I kind of like that one. I don't know if that's really because he really likes that one and he's telling them not to do it, or if that was in the script. I think it's man with meat or something is what that one's called. But Yeah, so yeah, I don't think he enjoyed that part of it. Was my understanding. Whether that's true or not, hell, I don't know, and I never will. But I'm going to go with it because that's kind of what I found out when I was kind of looking into this. The thing I found the most interesting though was not the chaos that they were causing, because you would expect goons to do that. You know, I love that they're painting everything to look like the Joker, but I think it's Bob the Goon is actually going behind with a pad of paper, writing down the artwork that they're defacing and the value of it so they know how much chaos they've caused. Like he's taking a tally of it as they're going. This is the kind of crazy screwball shit that the Joker's got going on. Like, let's not only deface the place, but let's find out how much money we defaced. You know, it's just, that's like such a Joker-esque kind of thing.
I never caught that.
Yeah.
As many times I've watched this movie.
Yeah.
Oh. And then, you know, they dance their way up to the restaurant, and then the Joker shows up, and they change the music tone to like this nice quiet dinner music, and you know, we get this wonderful conversation between Vicky Vale and this would-be suitor of the Joker, and he's talking to her, and he takes a look at her portfolio, and he's flipping through everything. I just like how he's like crap, and then he gets to the Corto Maltese photos, and he goes, now this is art, you know. So you kind of know that he's not right in the head. And then we're also introduced to what he's done to Alicia and how scary she looks now as he's, you know, provided art for her. What did you guys think of Joker's interaction with Vicky Vale?
I mean, it's pretty much what you'd expect. You know, he's trying to be a suitor, but not really. He's just like, you know, look, I'm infatuated with you. This is going to happen. Get used to this. You know, you're going to be my woman, kind of thing. The thing that more surprises me is Alicia, who's kind of like, you know, Joker, I thought we were going to do, I don't know, she's kind of crying about or whatever. Yeah. But I feel like if you get your face burned off by acid, you ain't exactly going to want to keep going with this guy. I mean, I know she's, you know, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed for sure, but still, like, it's just so strange how easily she fell into line with this insanity. It allows him, right, you know, to basically mar her up when you know she's very probably vain individual about her looks and things like that. You know, she knows what she's bringing to the table. She's kind of she's a gold digger. I mean, that's why she was with Grissom, and that's why then she was moving to Jack, kind of thing. So she's going to live the high life. And I don't think she was very worried when she thought Jack died. She's like, I still got my cash cow over here. And then she faints when she sees the Joker for the first time. But then he, again, disfigures her, and she still is traveling with him. And it doesn't seem like it's a fear thing. Like she's terrified of him. She's just like, this is the new standard. This is it. Yeah. So it was a bit strange.
Yeah. So what about you, Rick? Any thoughts on Joker and Vicky Vale's interaction in the museum before we move on to a fantastic fight sequence?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear right away that she is absolutely repulsed, but also feels a deep sense of terror, especially after seeing what he's done to the other girl and stuff like that. And and that just pretty much continues to carry on through the remainder of the movie. And I mean, it's large, like it's, you know, really, really big, and it kind of speaks a little bit to the character of the Joker in that he doesn't really see that. You know what I mean? Like, for us looking from the outside, we can clearly see that she is definitely not into this motherfucker. But she's also scared enough of this person to not outright reject him, which, because he can't necessarily see that, he just continues to pursue, because, you know, she knows that if she's just like, nah, man, fuck this, negative, that he would probably just outright kill her or disfigure her in some manner.
She has an overwhelming sense of self-preservation, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is a very strong female trait. Most females, actually, there's a reason why females typically don't outright reject men, especially when they come up to them and ask for numbers and stuff like that. And it's because of that. It's for that sense of self-preservation.
Which carries on later into the movie when we get another confrontation between Vicky and the Joker.
Yeah.
So, but she's rescued by probably some of the coolest Batman-esque sequences where he crashes through the skylight and grabs her and shoots that harpoon gun to get them out of there. And it is a Batman movie right here. I mean, we get to see his wonderful toys with that iconic line given by the Joker. It's great because we go from that point outside, we get to see the Batmobile. And I mean, seeing this version of the Batmobile on the screen for the first time, I fell in love with the car. I'm not that big of a gearhead, but seeing that Batmobile, I'm like, I want one of those. That is a cool car. The fact that it has its own like little toys. I mean, it's got a grappling hook on the tires, so like when he goes to take a turn too fast, he can use the grappling hook to like swing the car around. It has shields. It's got auto drive. I mean, this is Batman's version of KITT. It is the coolest car ever. And the sequence of them just displaying this in the streets of Gotham. Now, what I thought was rather funny is this car was built on an Impala, a 1967 Impala. It had a V8 engine in it, and they had like cobbled together with several different other pieces. It got up to 90 miles an hour. But the problem is it would shake so much, it would actually shake the car apart.
Oh, dang.
Well, I think that, and I think it only has like a 5-gallon gas tank on it or something. So,
oh my God.
There was somebody who actually bought one of the cars from this production, and it said it's really cool to own. But the problem is with a 5-gallon gas tank, all you could do is drive from gas station to gas station to hope you look cool doing it.
No, this is Batmobile is always cool. Doesn't matter pretty much any Batman film, comic book show, whatever. Batmobile is always cool, and this version of the Batmobile definitely lived up to its reputation. And as a fun little aside, I don't know about the other two of you. I imagine Tim might be able to relate, but I actually am still in ownership of one of the original versions of the 1966 Adam West Batmobile. I actually have like the Batmobile has, I think it has lights on the front or something that is like lights. I haven't actually examined it in years, but the back has this spring-loaded claw thing. Or maybe it's in the front. It's in the front of the back. I can't remember. But it has a spring-loaded claw thing that will be able to kind of grab the villains and for capture or whatever.
I bet that's
through the Batmobile.
I bet that's the Mego one. You said it's like the 1966 one or whatever.
It's like like the 1966 version. It's some sort of, it seems like a recreation. Yeah. Because I think it came out in like the 80s.
Okay. All right. Well, here's mine sitting on my desk. So there you go. I got it. I got it right there. So this is one of the few Matchbox cars I've hung on to all these years. I do have the Batman or the Batmobile from this movie. This, I think, is by far my favorite one. I mean, the classic Batmobile from the 66 is cool. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But when this came out, you were like, holy shit, that is a cool car. And I mean, the one that we're going to see in the Dark Knight series is cool, but it looks like an overgrown Humvee to me a little bit. It's just, I mean, it's definitely, they took it another direction. They tried to make it their own, and they did. But it's just not as cool as this one. This one's just sleek and streamlined. It looks... It's Gotham. I mean, it looks Gotham-y, but yet it looks like something from the future and something from the past all at the same time with the big fins that they put on it and things like that. But then it's got that really elongated body, and then it's got basically like a Harrier jet engine in the back of it kind of thing, Yeah. But then it's also got that weird round scoop in the front that I'm not sure what that does. It almost looks a little phallic, but it's cool as hell too, And then like Matt said, It's got armor. It's got machine guns. I mean, this thing's got everything on it. It is so flipping cool. So by far my favorite Batmobile, hands down.
Well, so you haven't mentioned every feature that this Batmobile has, because one of the most important things that they added to this version of the Batmobile that I don't know if they necessarily had in the previous iterations, probably in future iterations, you might be able to make an argument that it also contained this extremely vital and very powerful addition. And that is the chick magnet. This chick magnet on this motherfucker was so powerful, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was like fucking amazing, bro.
I think the thing that throws over the top for me too is, you know, I mean, you've seen a couple classic cars, you know, I mean, we got the DeLorean and the doors open like their wings, right? You know, and then we got some 80s cars where the doors open like fins, like they come up, you know, like straight up. You know, like above the cars.
Like Lamborghini.
Yeah, which is very cool. But this one's got like that cool cockpit thing. Like it goes forward, comes back.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It is so cool too. Like as far as that goes, it's so original. You know, and I thought that is really cool. And the funny part is when they made the car, they made a mock-up the first time. And I guess Tim Burton walks in and goes, "Man, that's really cool, but where are the doors?" And they're like, "Oh shit, we didn't even think of that." So they had to figure out how they were going to have an opening. So that's how they came up with the Harrier jet kind of like cockpit that opens and closes like that. And then they made the thing. And then they realized, you know, well, Michael Keaton's much taller once you put the Batman outfit with the cowl and the big bat ears. So they actually had to create a secondary, you know, bat cow with shorter ears each time he would get in the car. Because otherwise they closed that and it would hit his ears and like flatten him down. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like there were all kinds of little things about this car that you didn't really know, like when they made it, that they didn't think about. The other one was there's that one scene where you see Vicky Vale's in the Batmobile and then she gets out, and as she gets out, she's tossing her shoes off, and you're like, that's weird. Why is she doing that? Oh, it must be because she's going to run. No, it's because every time she would get out of the car and have her heels on, they'd scratch that paint. And that paint was some kind of super special Japanese, like super dark black that they had to import in. And the guys are getting tired of having to repaint the car. It's just like, just take your fucking shoes off, you know? So that's why she did that. But yeah, there's kind of a bunch of interesting little things around the car. There's all kinds of little history on that. And then they have later on, you can read about, there's like MTV raffles went off. And then you can read about what happens to the guy that gets it. It ends up going very poorly for him and things like that. So it's almost like its own little rabbit hole of information for this movie, if you will. If you're so inclined and got nothing better to do with your time, go jump into that.
Well, what I also like is so the chase sequence, like I said, the car couldn't get up to 90 miles an hour, so it would start to shake apart. So they specifically did the chase sequence a little slower, and they kind of like sped the film up just a little bit. So it's actually a not a high speed chase, but it's a chase, but it's not, you know, as fast as you would expect it to be with him having a rocket engine on it. And I just like how it just goes from, okay, we're going for a car chase. Well, now we've got something that happens. So now we're going to go on a foot chase, and we get a whole alley sequence, and we get the classic, you know, fighting Batman, and then he gets shot. So he falls down, and they're going to try to look at his face, and there's Vicky Vale up on the roof taking pictures. And I love the fact that Bruce is aware of everything going on. Like, he's definitely playing possum, and he takes out the goons, and then he grabs Vicky Vale, and he knows that she hid the film from the camera on her. So when he finally does take her back to her place later on, he knows that, okay, I got to get that film off of her. I just thought that was kind of cool that they were setting all this up.
I got two thoughts of that. So, first of all, did you notice as he's having the fight, she would quickly pop her head over and take the pictures, like you just pointed out, right?
Right.
It almost very much seemed like they were trying to, in their own weird way, reproduce that, like, pow, bang thing from the 60s, where the little thing was flashing, but it was with the camera flashes at the same time. But it was like, because it was almost like her pictures were synced with the actual action. So it kind of had that weird little feel to it. But then the other thing, I thought about that afterwards, because I'm like, it's such a he knows she's got the film. She's smart enough to hide it. Can you see him? He brings her back, sets her on the bed, and then I just see him just think like Michael Keaton. Just think for a minute. He's just standing there for like an hour going, how I have to get, how am I going to get this? Like, I mean, I could just, no, I should, no. Yeah. I can just see this emotional turmoil going on in him like that. Like, and then he's just like, okay, I'm just going to cover my eyes and I'm just going to really carefully go down there. Like, it's just, so, I don't know why I think that, but it just do.
Well, we also get them heading back to the Batcave, and we get this cool sequence where they drive into the Batcave, and that's when Batman kind of reveals the reason for Joker's chemicals and how to counteract it all. And we also get this moment where Vicky Vale's trying to figure out who Batman is. I mean, because that's the whole reason why she's there. She wants to learn more about Batman, and I just thought that was kind of neat that every time that she would come around, Batman would have to turn his entire body, because he couldn't just turn his head. He had to turn his whole body, because that cowl was all one giant rubber piece.
Right,
and I just thought that was pretty cool. And it kind of establishes the fact that when Batman moves, his whole body has to turn.
It kind of becomes like a hero move thing, doesn't it? Like that becomes almost like a thing, because of the way that he did that. I think he couldn't hear very well in that too. I think that was the other thing for him. Once he has that on, he really couldn't hear anybody else. So I imagine it was quite challenging to do your scenes with people when you can't really hear, let alone move.
Yeah. So yeah, I love the fact that we get progression through the movie. We get to see a little more of Batman's interaction with Vicky Vale, and we get another cool sequence inside the Batcave. Rick, any final thoughts before we move further on?
So it was actually in these sequences here where you get to really see voice interaction of Batman with other characters. In particular, it was with Vicky, and it. I don't know about you guys, but I'd never noticed this before. Maybe it's just I just don't watch Batman stuff too often, but it totally reminded me of the Batman videos that are on the spoof videos on YouTube. I think it's Pete Holmes is the one who does these Batman. And I was looking at Michael Keaton and I'm like, holy shit, this is the Batman that is being fucking made fun of right here, dude. I was just like, oh my God, man, this is exactly it, He looks exactly like the way that Michael Keaton looks when he's got the mask on.
Well, what I think is funny is Michael Keaton's not doing a Batman voice. It's Michael Keaton's voice.
No, he does do a bit of that. I mean, he actually does.
It's a little deeper.
Take it and bring it a little deeper. He's the one that sets that whole tone. And then in the next movies they're going to take way deeper. Christian Bale takes it to an extreme, but he did. He goes, so how am I going to differentiate this? And so he did lower his voice a little bit, just not as dramatically as the Dark Knight series,
Okay. It sounded very much like the same to me. I'm like, what's this Michael Keaton saying I'm Batman? But I think Michael Keaton has a very distinct voice. Mm-hmm. So, and then, the next morning, as I said, Vicky Vale, she doesn't have the film anymore, but she does get a phone call from Knox, and she gives the information to Knox so that they can spread out the reason why, or how to, what they can do to not die from all the chemicals. Joker, of course, is a little upset, and he shoots out another TV. And meanwhile, Alfred tries to convince Bruce to tell Vicky the truth, which, of course, he decides to do just that. And he shows up to Vicky's apartment with a flower, and he's trying to tell her, what's going on with him. And she kind of starts off confronting him and, having this squabble. And then finally she's calms down and she tells him, okay, yeah, go ahead, tell me, But before he can say anything, the doorbell rings. She goes to check it out, and there's the Joker. And we get a wonderful, iconic moment where the Joker meets Bruce Wayne. And this is where Michael Keaton gets to go toe-to-toe with Jack in the fact that he can play somebody that wants to get nuts. You want to get nuts? And I think he really kind of crap, what's the word I'm looking for? He kind of channels a little bit of the clean and sober character he did in the movie Clean and Sober. What do you guys think of the whole interaction between Joker and Bruce in this sequence?
I think at this point he's figured out that he's Jack Napier. I'm pretty sure that he's got that all figured out, which is what saves him in this scene, because he knows he's already fought Jack, even though Jack doesn't know it. And so he knows that Jack always aims, he tried to shoot him. He shoots, the lieutenant and things like that. And he tries to shoot Gordon. So he knows he's always aiming for the chest and the heart. So he takes that little tray and puts it over there, because that tray is not very big.
Right.
So if you don't put it in the right spot, he's a dead man kind of thing. So I think that, again, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way for Bruce. And I also find it interesting that this kind of completes the circle now, because they've met each other in all iterations, Right. Bruce meets Jack as Bruce and Jack when he's a little boy. And then, then Batman meets Jack at the chemical plant, as far as that goes. And then now the Joker is meeting Bruce for the first time, technically. And then the Joker and Batman have both met each other at the museum. So now they've kind of done every little iteration before they finally, he does the reveal of, I know who you are, kind of thing. And then they kind of figure out who each other is. And they've got each other dead to rights kind of thing. So, this is kind of like the final, the circle is now complete kind of thing. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I like this part too, that because of all these reveals, like you said, these reveals of who Batman is, who Joker is. And then in this scene also is actually where Batman had intended to reveal to Vicky who Batman really is. So I thought this was really, really good. I thought this really spoke to the quality of the plot that is going on throughout this whole entire thing. And it adds to that suspense that you feel when you're watching, oh yeah, okay, so is he gonna do it? Is he gonna, say this information? And in complete Keaton fashion, he's stroking his absent fucking Fu Manchu as he's trying to speak. That's his signature move, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a mustache that goes along the side of his mouth, yet he still uses that move time and time again. Doesn't matter what movie, he's constantly using that move as an actor. But yeah, I also thought that this was really cool as far as reveal. This is that part in the story where you do get reveals and stuff, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, and I particularly like you said, Keaton's delivery when he's trying to tell her, and he's coming up with these weird elaborate, how when you get married and you have cereal and you do, he's just dude, just tell her,
Yeah.
He's coming up with all these convoluted, you have a normal life, and she's like, oh, you're married. No, I'm not married, but it's very Michael Keaton-esque. I totally get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
And this is the sequence, Rick, where we first hear, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? That's the key point, which I thought was kind of foreshadowing when we get that flashback. But I think it's Jack. It's the way he delivers it. It's really kind of a cool line. And of course, he does take the Joker takes a pot shot at Bruce, and Bruce falls over. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. So speaking of reveals, the Joker reveals that Alicia is now dead, and he puts that mask up on the mantle and he smashes it.
Yeah.
Did you guys happen to notice that Kim Basinger grabbed a bowl off the mantle and kind of scrolled it next to her like she was expecting something to break?
I don't know if I noticed that.
I seen her grab the bowl. It looked like a bowl full of popcorn or something. I don't know what it was. And
oh yeah, you're right. It did look like a bowl.
Yeah, just why is she protecting this bowl of popcorn? It's just such a weird
thing. She's
gonna
go and start eating it.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually because they weren't expecting that mask to smash, and B, it was actually something that wasn't supposed to be in the shot, and nobody really caught it. but it kind of like worked. So Burton kind of left that in. So I just thought that was kind of a fun little side tangent.
The other little side tangent is that she said that she was 108 pounds.
Yeah.
He was like,
You're
yeah,
108.
you're a little more than that.
Yeah.
So now Vicky Vale has gone back to Knox, and Knox learns about Wayne and tells Vicky all about his childhood trauma. Alfred has a nice moral discussion with Bruce about grieving the loss of old friends and their sons. Meanwhile, the Joker interrupts a TV broadcast to the mayor announcing that the gala's getting postponed. Joker then tells the citizens that the gala will go on and tells them he loves a good party. At midnight, he will drop $20 million on the crowd. Joker calls Batman out as, hey, it's going to be a great thing because it's going to be mano a mano. I've taken my mask off. How about you, Bats? And then Bruce sees this on TV and he realizes that, he's got to go to work. But before he goes to work, Alfred lets the cat out of the bag and brings Vicky Vale down to the Batcave. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would think that if my employee gave out trade secrets to the Batcave, that I'm pretty sure I would be firing them.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think this is probably the second most contentious thing about this film. The first one was everybody be like, Michael Keaton is Batman. What are you, nuts? Nobody was happy about that. But then for Alfred to just bring her down there without his permission, that is, in no world would Alfred do that. He just wouldn't. I don't believe. I mean, again, I'm not steeped deeply into the Batman lore, but I believe I know enough to know that that is not something Alfred would do. And
No,
I think if
not.
Alfred did, guy who brought me up my entire life, still not forgivable. What do you like? It was my decision to reveal myself to her, not your decision to make for me, let alone to bring her down here and show her everything. So yeah, I think that was the only thing. For as much as making Joker the killer of Batman worked so well, this one countered that it worked so poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, it's a stretch. And
Yeah.
you get some the only thing I find redeeming about it is that we do get some 80s cliche dialogue of, oh, I've loved you since I met you. And he's like, I got to go to work, babe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so number one, I don't know if you guys noticed, but even though it's 1989, this stuff comes out, this motherfucker got a straight up gaming chair. All right, this dude is rocking the gaming chair. Okay.
Actually, I looked at that chair. I think it's a chair from a plane.
Okay, like for like a cockpit or something.
Yeah. If you look at it, it looks very military. So I think it is an actual military aviation chair.
Yeah, probably. And the other thing is, at this point, okay, for sure, Tim, I think you're 100% right. However, I think you're 99% right. I think that Alfred, here's why. Because you said that you do not think that Alfred kind of breaks it, that Alfred actually brings her, and then the stipulation of if it ever happened. I just don't agree that it would ever happen. I just don't think that Alfred would do that. Like, that's just totally not something that Alfred would do just to, like, unilaterally make that call. I just don't see that happening. Period. End of story. But however, it did happen, and then we have to kind of roll with it. So that being as it may, she finds out he is not only Bruce Wayne, the richest motherfucker, but he's also Batman, the coolest motherfucker. So because of both of those things, actually he could pretty much say and do whatever the fuck he want to say and do. And she's still going to be like simping over him for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what's going to happen. He's got the car. He's got the money.
He's definitely
got
got the car.
The style.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got everything. So she's like hook, line, sinker. She's like totally into him.
Hey, and he's got his own personal jet too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably a couple of them.
I told you I'm not really into the whole Batman thing. I had to look it up to find out what the fuck this thing is called. The Batwing.
Yep.
I did not know that's what that was called.
Yes, the Batwing, the coolest airplane in the world.
Yeah, he's got the Batmobile, the Batwing, the Bat Chopper, the Bat Boat. Everything's the Bat something.
Yep.
Yeah, the Bat Cave.
Yep.
The Bat Shark repellent. So now he goes to work. He gets into his suit. They have a cool sequence where he like looks up at the lights and he takes off.
Now hang on, I got it. Before you go any further, Matt, does that make sense to you guys that a guy who has an entire bat lair, if you will, bat cave, does he really need the bat vault to keep the bat suit in? I mean, that just seems like overkill. Like, do you really need to protect it? Because if somebody breaks into the bat cave, it's pretty much game over, right? Like, I just
right.
Like that vault seems like way overkill. Cool, it's a cool shot. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, nah, that seems like overkill to me.
Well, what you don't know is that the Bat Vault is actually a hermetically sealed device that allows the suit to dry out so that they can clean it. It's actually a cleaning system.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm sticking to.
I feel like we just went into the Big Bang Theory's conversation of how Batman cleans his suit.
Yes. But then, suits aside, he gets ready, he goes out and he takes out Axis chemicals. Which I thought was another really cool action sequence. The Batmobile is driving in there. It engages the shields. It's popping out, machine guns. It's shooting perfect squares into the wall so they fall down and you can drive through.
Man.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was super cool, man. And the little grenade drop, that was cool.
Shields go on, they drop the grenade balls, and then everything was blowing up. It's driving away, and I just thought that was cool. I mean, how awesome would it be to be Batman, to drive in all there and do all that? But then you find out that Batman wasn't even in the freaking car, man. He totally Michael Knighted that thing.
Yeah, that was super cool, man. That was super cool. Yeah, it was definitely cool enough as it was. And then this motherfucker is in the Batwing. It's like, what the absolute fuck, bro? This is the grand finale right here. It's fucking crazy. And if I remember correctly, this is also where you've got Joker putting on his little parade with more Prince music. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, this is super duper cool.
Yeah, we get the whole. Well, before we get the parade sequence, we do get to see a Joker copter because after that, the Joker wasn't there. He's on a helicopter, so they fly him to the parade. Then we get the cool parade sequence, and they got everyone's like dancing to the Joker music. They're throwing money all over the place. Joker makes a big old speech. He's got balloons everywhere, and then that's when Vicky Vale is taking pictures of things, and she sees that the gas is coming out of the balloons, and she and Knox are trying to kind of save the day, but it's not until we see the Batwing that we get to see this really cool sequence of him taking the balloons out. Not only does he take out the balloons, and he kind of like flies them all away, and he pisses Joker off, but we get this cool, just pure luck that it was a day of a full moon, and the Batwing flies up and makes the bat symbol out of the moon, and then comes right back down. I thought that was an awesome shot.
I thought it was a super cool idea to honeypot the fucking people of Gotham, man.
Yeah,
and like the last little line that he says to the people of Gotham, he's just like, yeah. You stupid motherfuckers are about to die now. And it was not only was it too late, but they're like also confused, like, wait a second, you're the one who given us all this money, and now what are you talking about?
Well,
and yeah, you're right.
And there's a couple things to that scene that it doesn't quite make sense. And it's because there's a couple scenes that hit the cutting room floor that I think should have been left in the movie. And the first is he honeypots everybody there by getting in them, I'm going to give you all this cash, right? But then the people get pissed off and turn on him because what he's passing out isn't normal money. It's Joker cash.
That's what I thought too. I thought that too, man.
What does he say when she's like, well, what do you want from me? He's like, my face on the dollar bill. And that's exactly what he does. So he's passing out dollar bills with his face on it or whatever. And so the people kind of turn on him a little bit. And the other thing that's kind of weird is all this commotion is going on during this fight that's going to ensue between him and Batman. Where are the cops? I mean, they're downtown Gotham, right? Well, I guess there's a whole scene that they take out too, where the Joker takes over like basically a public ceremony that's held by the mayor, takes him hostage, which causes the mayor to have a breakdown. And while he was doing that, he basically poisons all the police's coffee. Doesn't with a non-lethal poison, not like the Smilex that he's been doing, but it basically takes all the cops out of commission. That's why he's able to freely just go through Gotham and do this, and there's no resistance by the police whatsoever either. So I feel like those are two really crucial scenes that they should have left in this film, and I wish they'd do a special edition and put them back in there because I think that it explains. I mean, it doesn't have to be in there, but it really does flesh it out a little bit more, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes so much more sense now.
Gotcha. Fills in the little holes in the plot.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was watching this, I could have swore that was going to, like, for whatever reason, I thought for sure that there was part of this scene indicated that, like, the people of Gotham were looking at that money and then come to the realization that it was like Joker dollars. But I didn't see that. So I mean, did they come out with a version that did have these director's cut or whatever?
No, I don't think these scenes have ever been put in anything that I'm aware of. Yeah. I read about them and I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Because the other part of this that gets me too is that we got this awesome Batwing. It's causing all kinds of chaos. It's flying through and taking away Joker's balloons, which infuriates him, right? And then Batman comes back around to strafe, and he strafes the Joker, doesn't manage to hit him, which I don't know how that's possible. And originally, the Joker was supposed to dance around and stuff, but they're like, I think it's so much cooler for him to just stand in one place and just let it happen, because that's kind of how Joker is. Like, okay, let's see how this rolls, kind of thing. And so it kind of it kind of reinforces his resolve and that steel that he has. It's like, this bat ain't taking me out. This isn't happening. And then he misses him, comes back around for another one. And then what's he do? He pulls out that revolver with that ridiculously long telescopic barrel and takes one shot at, basically at the Batwing. And that's it. It's down and out for the count, right? And so you're like, what the hell is going on with that too? That seems like, how can one bullet from a gun, and it's basically a Smith & Wesson 38. That's what he trades up to. And so there is, much like Star Wars, when we did our Star Wars episode where we talk about, there's the book Shadows of the Empire that explains a lot of things that fall between Empire to Jedi. There is a book called Batman Resurrection that takes place between this film and Batman Returns, that it does explain that. So that gun that Joker has is a gun he steals from the military that fires a special bullet that's designed to take out electronics. So it's not a penetrating bullet, but whatever it hits, it shorts it out. So it's like a EMP bullet, basically. And so that's when he pulls that thing out and he hits the Batwing. That's why the Batwing just goes to shit and crashes, because he short circuits all the Batwing's electricity. So I was like, oh, well, now that makes complete sense too. Like, and I don't,
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like they should have fit that in. And the reason they did that was because originally the Joker was supposed to have a tank that he shoots the Batwing down with. It was supposed to be one of the floats. He drives out from the float and then shoots the Batwing. But they're like, well, we're running out of money, and it's going to take a long time to make this prop. And we already built the Batmobile. That took 14 weeks to do or whatever. So let's just make a revolver with a really long barrel, and that will be the explanation. And it's elegant, simple, and it gets us to the same spot. So I was like, okay, I can accept that. It's budgetary constraints. They got to be creative, but it's like they just left that little detail out. If they'd have put that in, you're like, oh, that makes so much more sense than just one guy with a ridiculously long barreled 38 can take out a flying Batwing.
Well, it kind of shows the comic origins to the Joker too, because he always had some kind of like weird gimmicky thing that he was trying to use against Batman. I always thought it was something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they both apparently, I don't know, Joker steals all those money and then has things created, but he's kind of like Bruce Wayne in that regard. Wayne's got Wayne Industries, and they're making all kinds of super cool Batman secret weapons, and Joker's having somebody make his, or he's just stealing them from the government or wherever he can, But yeah, it was just, and I just like how that gun, when he's done, he just pushes the barrel down. It's just like, like it was a pointer or whatever. Yeah. So it's so Joker-esque in itself too. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
couple other things that happened in the scene that I thought were really cool was the real quick shot of the Batwing up against the moon, which was obviously the homage. Yeah, so that's cool. The featuring of our reporter, Knox, actually playing the role of the hero there. For at least a little short time, he kind of protected Vicky Vale, and then went to try to do something against these gangsters that were terrorizing the good citizens of Gotham.
Yeah, doesn't he have like a little billy club or something? He pulls out of the car and starts like beating the guys with it. Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and I think that kind of speaks to like the growth that this character has from start to finish. You know, like he went from just like an annoying green, seemingly green reporter to, you know, more of the role of a man, from almost like a child to a man here, from the start to finish of this film. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Would you say he evolved into almost like a Fonzie kind of character because of the way he karate chopped the hood to open it?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I did take note of that, and I was like, oh, okay. Hey, Mr. Cunningham.
And I think it also proves that Vicky Vale can't drive because she like runs into Knox and then causes him to fall into a soft pile of garbage.
And apparently had an anvil in it somewhere because it knocks his ass out.
Yeah. And so here's the other thing that just kind of like leads into the fact that there's going to be a big confrontation between these three characters of Vicky Vale, Batman, and the Joker, because as soon as the Batwing crashes on the cathedral steps, she runs up to the Batwing to try to see if Bruce is okay. And the Joker, you know, intercepts her, and then the Joker calls up to his helicopter and says, yeah, meet me on top of the cathedral in 10 minutes or however many minutes he says. And then he manages to spirit her away as they walk up to the top of the cathedral. You know, Batman then manages to get out of the Batwing, and he walks into the cathedral, and there's just like this long, arduous trek from the bottom all up to the top. And suddenly when they're at the top of the cathedral, there's all these like Joker goons. Where'd they come from? They didn't follow him up there, but yet they're there to fight Batman. I don't know. It was a little hard for me to go, well, I could use a little more explanation. Did the helicopter land and drop off all these goons?
They deployed like special forces. They're Joker forces.
I mean, they did have that helicopter, but you're right. It doesn't really explain it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense that this would be like the plan, because that wasn't the plan. The plan was that all the people in Gotham were about to get killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like, what the fuck is up with that?
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a disconnect, but it wasn't until later that I realized that the reason why there's this disconnect was because Peter Green, the producer, requisitioned the model for the cathedral without Burton's knowledge, and that's where he was going. He wanted to set the entire end of the movie up was on top of this cathedral. And now that I've learned that, it kind of like makes sense. Okay, that's why there's all these people there, because they couldn't explain it. They couldn't explain how to get them up there. You know, we got this thing we got to use. How do we get them there? And well, this is how we do it.
Maybe they ran up the stairs earlier so that they could try to capture the balloons that the Batwing cut away. They're like, get to the tall buildings so we can grab the balloons.
There you go. And then there's a big fight, and I thought that this end fight sequence was really cool because, I mean, Batman's taking out I think it was like 4 or 5 guys. But did you guys notice one of the stuntmen was actually the infamous Billy Banks, a.k.a. the what was that fitness program, the kickboxing fitness program?
Oh, Tybo, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, really?
That Batman was fighting, yeah.
Holy shit, man.
And then I couldn't help but feel sorry for the one gentleman who's like, he's doing all these backflips and everything, and he goes running up there and he goes to jump, and like these nightsticks like come out of the back of or the sides of his legs, like he's gonna use those to, like, I don't know, stab Batman, and then Batman just kind of like makes a move, and like this, I don't know, like metal piece extends from his arm and hits the guy like square in the nuts, and then the guy falls back.
I think the cool thing about Batman's fighting is it's almost a lack of fighting skills. Like it's kind of like the indie thing where the guy's coming at him with the swords, and he just reaches over, grabs the gun, and shoots him, kind of thing. It's
Right.
almost kind of the same deal where you got these guys like, oh, you know, they're doing the whole the karate moves, they're doing the flips and stuff. They come up and he just punches him in the face and knocks him out, kind of stuff. You know, it's just it's
Right.
like no flash whatsoever. It's just, you know, down and dirty, whatever it takes to take you out. I don't need to be some kind of flashy martial artist. All I got to do is wait for you to be done with your presentation, and then I'm gonna just, you know, smack you in the face and it's over.
Yeah, what makes it look better is his cape. You know what I'm saying? Because he's moving
Yeah.
around with that cape. It makes his moves look cool. And it seems as though his moves pack quite the wallop. Otherwise, you know, it wouldn't necessarily just knock these dudes out outright so fast. But yeah.
Well, and not that, but the whole suit is like super hard armor because the Joker goes to punch him and almost like breaks his hand because he seemed like, oh,
Yeah,
you know, you see
man.
me go. So anybody that's hitting this guy, I don't care how tough you are, if that is armor is that hard, every time you hit him, you're just probably doing more damage to yourself than you are to him.
Yeah.
It's like, it reminds me of the Punisher Warzone where he was wearing that like full body, like bulletproof armor, and he's got it up around his neck and stuff because he's almost doing the same kind of Batman moves and things like that. Because he can walk into a situation where bullets are flying as long as somebody doesn't hit him in the head. The dude knew he was
Right.
going to survive because he was pretty much covered head to toe in body armor.
But it was a cool fight sequence. I really enjoyed it. I like the fact that this is like a culmination event and a confrontation between Joker and Batman, and you know, Joker actually learns that, okay, so Batman created the Joker. Joker learns that, oh, I created you. What? Oh, I killed your parents. Oh, okay, great. And
What does he say? I was young. You can't judge me based on when I was so young. Blah blah blah. Like, you motherfucker, dude.
yeah.
Do what you were doing, bro.
And then he pulls a cool comedic move with, well, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses. And
I
he hits-
love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
I like that it shows he'll play dirty because, I mean, not only does Joker almost break his hands on it, but then Batman punches him in the nuts. He's just like, he's like, look, there's no rules here. You know?
Yeah.
Speaking of no rules, how about Vicky Vale's move to basically distract a little bit to give Batman the upper hand there for a moment?
Yeah. Yeah. Where she's like kissing his shoulder and stuff. And then she's like, we're going to fall out of camera.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that because I'm sorry, but she's been resistive all the way up to this point, and then she's going to start pulling, you know, that game with Joker. Joker's not like he's some infatuated schoolboy. It's like, I finally got the, you know, the prom queen kind of thing. I don't see him falling for that whatsoever. And the fact that he does, it just seems kind of stupid to me. Because as soon as if I was a Joker and she's been this way towards me, and all of a sudden she's like, oh, I love purple, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, something's about to happen. Like, there's something, this is not right. So, you know, the jig's up, something's going to happen. I think I just drop her to the ground and turn around and start looking because I know, like, just know somebody's behind me or something.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're not the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess.
You definitely have a pretty decently solid mind. You know what I'm saying? You're not all fucking crazy,
Right.
psychotic. You know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of speaks to the type of insanity that he shares, you know, with other super villains and stuff, where they have whether it be the megalomaniac or narcissistic or whatever, psychotic, other, we'll just call it all the other forms of mental inabilities or dysfunctions.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean,
Well,
okay, let me put it to you another way. Let's go back to Silence of the Lambs. If this is Hannibal Lecter and somebody tried to do that to him, I mean, he's just as nutty as the Joker. Do you think he'd fall for that?
So But the thing is that he wasn't actually moving forward to kind of court, what's her name? The agent that was the female agent. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, he was basically trying to win Vicky Vale's love, and because Vicky Vale wasn't outright rejecting him, that just, I think, furthered his efforts to pursue. Like, if he were to get rid of Batman, then she would see him for who he really is. And because he probably was under the impression that Batman was no more, that maybe that kind of... I mean, you did see a little bit of look of hesitation on his face for a moment there, and then he just kind of gave into it, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a completely unbelievable. I think it was definitely something that could be believed. It wasn't out of the, out in left field or anything like that. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, because Joker's face at the end there, when she like falls out of the frame, the face that he's giving is kind of a shock and surprise, like, oh my gosh, it's actually going to pay off. And then that's when Batman shows up. So yeah, I kind of have a feeling that he started to fall for it.
All right. I mean, I think those are valid points.
So, but then, after the whole fight sequence between the two of them, Joker manages to push Vicky Vale off the side of the cathedral, but Batman manages to fall off with her and grab her and keep her safe long enough for Joker's helicopter to show up, and Batman, in the hopes of preventing the Joker from making his getaway, shoots a, slingshot rope with 2 balls on it. I don't know what that device is called. But
Bolas, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, it causes him to get stuck to the cathedral church, and then it causes the statue to fall off, which then makes him fall to his death. Perilous death. Which saddens me, because if they were going to make a sequel, I wanted to have the Joker come back. I mean, he was a great character. I wish they didn't kill him off.
Yeah, but how many times in the comic books do you see Joker dies only to come back again? You know what I mean? Kind of thing, over and over again. It's the comic books. They'll figure something out.
Yes, that is true.
I did like at the end, though, where he's lying on the ground and you get that... that laughing is awesome. It's just, and the cops are like, what the hell? They're kind of like walking up on him, kind of thing. And it was such a nice touch, instead of just having him laying on the ground with his eyes open, kind of glassy and looking up, kind of thing. It really, that laugh just sold it.
Yep. Yeah. It was a great, I would say it was a great ending to a really great film. Again, I would have liked to have seen a future with another Joker, that particular Joker, but you can't have your cake and eat it too, I guess. But we do get the final sequence, the best sequence that you could possibly see in a Batman movie, and that is the introduction of the bat signal as Batman is standing on top of a gargoyle with the light shining up in the sky. That has got to be iconic in no matter what movie or version of Batman you see. It's awesome. And cut the credits. What do you guys think of the end of the movie? The culmination of all of these events.
It was perfect as far as, I mean, the fight was a little weak. I'm not going to lie. I felt that the fight, just with the extra goons and things, was a little weak, but I did like the ending with the Joker, with him over the building, and then him get caught up in the line and the statue and all that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed the end with the bat signal. Like, the cops are like, look, this dude's definitely on our side. We're going to just embrace this. And it's like, but how do we call him? And he turns that light on. You're right. It's a super iconic scene. It's we've seen it back in the Adam West days where they had the little bat signal up in the sky like that. So I think it's as iconic as the Batman suit itself. So it was a great way to end it.
So 2 things. One, you guys were just talking about the whole Tybo person. If I remember correctly, wasn't he wearing like sunglasses and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So I think he was in the wrong movie. All right. Because as far as I know, I'm pretty sure that Blade isn't supposed to be in this movie, and he was busy hunting the wrong type of bat. He was hunting the Batman. He should have been hunting vampires. So, And the other thing is, I thought it was super cool. We get to see an actual fucking phone, man, with the rotary dial. You know, did you guys notice that? In one of the final scenes in Vicky Vale's apartment, she actually picks up a legitimate phone.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, like nowadays it's just cell phones and stuff like that. So
She had the princess phone. I think that was the princess phone. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, man. I thought that was cool. And then a nice, if I remember correctly, I think it was a Rolls Royce that was leaving out.
Yes.
Yeah, so super cool.
Yep. Well, gents, now that we've discussed Batman, let's take a look to see what this film rates on IMDb. So, according to IMDb, it is 7.5 stars. In 1989, Tim Burton created the very first Batman movie with great stars like Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. The Joker is definitely one of Hollywood's best villains on screen. Jack Nicholson was born for the role. With his psychotic and sick look, Michael Keaton is also great as Batman and pretty good as Bruce Wayne. Kim Basinger is kind of annoying at times, but she's not the worst damsel in distress ever seen on screen. Tim Burton has a unique way of doing Batman, and I think most people can agree that it fits the character and story. So now that we know where it sits on the IMDb, gentlemen, let's see how it holds up with our grading system. So we all have that limited time on Earth. Is it worth taking 2 hours and 6 minutes off your death clock to see this movie, Rick?
So Batman 1989, I thought it had a very well-written story. Obviously, there's a plethora of material here to go off of with regard to Batman, from comics to Adam West and everything there in between. But I thought that it was an absolutely great film, especially when we take a look at things like the characters, plot, the amount of backstory that we get a little bit here and there along the way, kind of building up suspense to a point where we actually get nice reveals that further motivate our characters. The Joker, oh God, super duper solid, absolutely amazing. And Kim Basinger, like we said already, center of the male attention. And Michael Keaton, in my opinion, really does pull off a very stoic Batman that works. I think that definitely works. And I cannot go any further without mentioning both the soundtrack and the score are both super fantastic. So Prince and Danny Elfman absolutely nailed this, alongside of all the other sets, props, costumes, providing this really kind of dark theme, which fits really well with the dark. So because of that, absolutely definite watch. You have to at least see this once. More than likely, you're probably going to watch this more than once. But if you haven't seen it, definitely have to go see it.
All right, that's one for yes. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I got to agree with Rick. Yeah, this is definitely a no-miss movie. I came back to this, as you know, I watch a lot of movies, and I'm always trying to watch something new. I mean, I have movies I love. This is one of them. But I may put it in and then not watch it for another 5 or 6 years kind of thing. So when I come back, it's always a little fresh. I mean, I kind of remember the premise and things like that. And I put this in and I started watching again. And I was just like, I forgot how good this movie really is. I just really kind of, I knew I liked it. I remembered liking a lot of aspects of it. But I mean, it's got an all-star cast. You just see so many actors in here that every actor brings their A game. I mean, Michael Keaton, one of the better, Batmans. Again, not quite my favorite. My wife's favorite, not mine. I'm still going to stand by my Affleck comment, but he's good. Jack Nicholson, there's never going to be a better Batman villain. As far as I'm concerned, he is, the be-all, end-all of Batman villains. He took Joker and just made it his own. It was such a great performance. How he didn't win an Oscar for this, because they just snubbed him because it's a basically comic book movie. It is a shame, because this is right up there with like the Doc Holliday performance by Val Kilmer, and so many others. It was a great performance. He should have gotten an Oscar, and he didn't. Michael Keaton, again, having to stand next to the legend Jack Nicholson, brought his A game. It was able to go toe-to-toe with him, not only as the Bat, but just as an actor alone. And, Kim Basinger, again, just devastatingly beautiful, strong, character that she plays in this. I thought she did really well. And all the supporting characters did a great job. So the scenery is fantastic. Again, it's timeless because it's not stuck in any one given era. So you can watch this today, 20 years ago, and another 20 to 50 years in the future, and it's going to feel accessible because it doesn't feel like it's stuck in an era for sure. It feels like it's stuck in the world of Batman and Gotham, which I think is really good because you feel like you're in that world. The soundtrack, you really got to look at it as two of them. There's the Prince stuff, which I enjoy, but the actual, other, soundtrack that was just written for it is, that Batman intro is just as iconic as the Star Wars theme, as the Indiana Jones theme. It's right up there. It's like one of the top 5 ones. When you hear it, you know what that's from and what, franchise it belongs to for sure. In fact, they use that, that Batman theme music for the next couple movies, even though he didn't even write it for those. They just carried over. And I think it's on the animated series. I think they use the soundtrack from this there too, if I remember correctly, or something very, very similar. It's a fantastic flick. I don't know how if you're just going to watch one Batman movie, this is it. And if you're into superhero movies, for sure. And if you're not sure you like superhero movies, this is a great place to start. It's a great entry gateway comic book movie, so you get a little taste and then you can, move into some of the others. Again, there are some good Batman movies and some very bad ones, but it also goes with Marvel and DC too, so, your mileage may vary as to how deep you want to go down the rabbit hole and what you're going to get out of each one of them.
Well, I don't think I could elaborate any more than what you guys said. So I'm going to just say that yes, this is definitely taking time off your death clock. And the key point is that this is a key moment in history. This is the first major comic book movie that made a crap ton of money. It launched a bunch of marketing and merchandising. We got roller coasters at Six Flags Great America because of this movie. We got like a resurgence of the character Batman because of this movie. It made money hand over fist, and it was well written, it was well directed, it was well acted. It is probably by far the biggest Batman movie to date. This is definitely worth taking time off your death clock. All right. Well, folks, we love to hear from you, so please let us know what you think about the show. Let us know what you think about Batman. We have 100 episodes now out there on YouTube and Spotify. So let us know what you think of the show. Email the show at manreviewpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll read your email right here on the show. Or leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify, and we'll discuss it here as well. All right, gentlemen. Normally this is where we would go into what are you watching, but because this is our 100th episode extravaganza, I'm going to momentarily suspend what are you watching, as I have a special treat for you guys. Tonight, we are going to have a little quiz. I have 12 questions for you. The winner of this quiz will get the Batman trophy.
Ooh.
Oh, shit, man. I'm putting my thinking cap on. I'm get some lemons and power them as well.
All right. So there are 3 topics to this trivia question. And I think what we'll do first is... I am thinking of a number between 1 and 5. The first one to get the correct answer will get to go first. Tim, what number am I thinking?
4.
Nope.
3?
Yes, it's 3. All right.
I'm going to go 3 first.
All right, Rick, there are 3 topics. Review history, YouTube analytics, and making the sausage. Now, mind you, this has to do about the podcast over the last 100 episodes.
Oh, shit.
So which category would you like?
I'll go the YouTube analytics for 400.
Okay. YouTube analytics. According to the YouTube analytics, which actor appears in our most watched episode and one of our least watched episodes?
Johnny Depp.
No. Tim.
Can you repeat the question?
According to YouTube analytics, which actor appears in our most watched episode and one of our least watched episodes?
Our most watched episode and our least watched episode. I would say it is Mel Brooks.
Nope. So our most watched episode is Nightmare on Elm Street. The actor John Saxon appears there, and he also appears in Enter the Dragon.
Okay.
Oh man, I would not have remembered that one.
I got part of that right. I did not get the right actor.
All right. I'll give you a quarter of a point.
I'm winning, Tim. I'm winning, Tim.
You get percentages?
All right. So it goes to you now, Tim. Which topic do you want? YouTube analytics, making the sausage, or review history?
I guess give me review history.
All right. Name our oldest horror film we have ever reviewed.
Our oldest one that we've ever reviewed?
Yes, our oldest.
Phantom of the Opera.
That is correct. It is Phantom of the Opera. Congratulations. One for Tim. All right. Rick.
Yes.
In your face, Rick.
Which topic would you like?
All right. I don't remember which topics there are.
We have review history.
Is there still more questions for each?
Yes.
What was the one we had? There was 3 topics. What was
making the sausage?
Let's make the sauce.
All right, making the sausage. Name the one film genre we have yet to discuss on our show. Think of all the movie genres. Which one have we not discussed yet?
And
I'll give you a hint to both you guys. This is a fair hint. Foreign films is not a genre. No, it is not romance.
Well, well, damn. I too was going to say romantic comedies, but that's not it. So, drama?
Nope. The hills are alive with the sound.
The musicals.
Yep.
Musicals.
All right.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I believe that was Rick. So to you, Tim. Making the sausage, YouTube analytics, or review history?
Well, I'm going to go back to you review history because that seems to be working for me.
What is the first horror film that we ever reviewed?
I already did that one.
No, you did the oldest. What is the first one we ever did?
I believe the first one was The Shining.
Forgot about The Shining. Hold on.
That might be worth an extra point. I'm fucked.
Yeah, I want a bonus quarter point if that got you. If I stumped you.
Oh, bitch. Yeah, you're right. Fuck. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'll give you a 1 1/4 points. There, you guys are tied. Or actually, no, you're ahead by 1.
I'm about to say, man, he's up by 2. He's up by 2.
All right.
By 2.
Yeah.
I'm up by 2. Yeah, he's only
solid.
got a quarter.
Yep.
Solid.
2
yeah.
2 1/4 for Tim, a quarter for Rick. All right. Rick, review history, YouTube analytics, or making the sausage?
Make the sausage.
I should just give you the point right now. What episode did Rick first appear as a regular host?
Oh, that's not the wrong question.
I.e., the start of a regular consecutive run.
Well,
you better send that question again.
Okay.
I mean, shit, I don't even know because I remember the first episode I was on. The first episode I was on was Beverly Hills Cop.
That is true.
However, I don't know if I can remember which one that I became like a consecutive member.
I'll let you think really hard on this one.
I'm probably gonna get this motherfucker wrong, bro. You're like, hey man, you gotta know, like, bro. I'll just go with Star Wars. I don't know, man.
You are right. All right. So you are now 1 1/4 points to Tim's 2 1/4. All right. Back to you, Tim.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try to be fair, so I'm gonna throw caution when I will go with. Oh, I'm gonna regret this. YouTube analytics.
Okay. Our shorts alone bring in 9,000 of our views. What film is our most popular short based from?
Our most popular short. I know it's not our most popular episode. It's going to be The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance?
Nope.
I'm going to say Raiders.
That is also wrong. I'm sorry. It is Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, wow, man.
All right. Back to you, Rick.
Let's do YouTube.
All right. YouTube analytics. Which genre has the most views in our top 10 episodes? Is it horror, westerns, action adventure, comedy, or sci-fi?
Westerns.
That is correct. It is
I
westerns.
knew that one, man.
Hey, what I got? 2.25 points now?
2.25 points to 2.25 points.
Oh, shit.
There are 5 questions left. Tim, what would you like?
Let's go making sausage.
All right. Which guest has appeared the most on our show?
I want to say it's Andreas, the pop culture guy.
No,
Shit!
I'm sorry. Rick.
Cyber.
It is Cyber, yes.
Oh,
He
shit.
He beat Andreas by 2 episodes.
I don't know, Tim.
You might have this, man.
You might not
You
get
might
that.
have this.
You might not get the Batman, bro.
All
Let's see,
right.
There's still 4 questions.
Yes, there are 4 questions left. 1 in YouTube analytics, 1 in making the sausage, and 2 in review history. Which one do you want, Rick?
The sausage.
Making the sausage. Name one of the 4 times we didn't review a film from the book.
I'd have to ask for further specification. As in, we were scheduled to...
No. There are 4 episodes out there that we released that do not refer to the book.
Oh, that don't refer to the book. Right. Yes. Okay. So, I gotta name one?
You gotta name one.
That would be Back to the Future Part 4.
Which was our...
It was a April Fool's episode. Yeah. Does that qualify?
That qualifies.
Uh-oh, Tim.
Swear to God, he's giving you all the easy ones. I smell conspiracy in the air.
So what would you like, Tim? Review history or YouTube?
I don't know. I'm a little chapped here. No, I got to try to do it. So let's go review history.
All right. What war or military conflict do we have the most episodes about?
Vietnam.
Sorry, it's not Vietnam.
What war?
What war or military conflict?
Oh, Native American conflicts.
Nope. I'm sorry, it's not that either. The answer is Star Wars is the most episodes that we talk about a war or military conflict.
Oh, man, you didn't specify it could be a non-real conflict.
Wow.
Because otherwise,
I said what?
Vietnam War is the answer.
Actually, I would say probably Native American conflicts. How many Westerns?
No, because we did
Those
Full
are
Metal
like Cowboys
Jacket, and we did
Platoon.
Vietnam War is like tied with another one.
We did Apocalypse Now. That's 3. That's
Yeah.
3 Vietnams.
All right, so where were we at? That was Tim?
Yeah, it's Rick.
All right, back to Rick. So, Rick, you got review history or YouTube analytics?
YouTube.
All right, YouTube analytics. What is our most viewed sci-fi episode?
Empire.
No.
Our most viewed sci-fi episode. Total Recall.
Ooh.
Oh, I know what it is. It's fucking RoboCop.
No. Tim is close. He's got the right actor, but he's got the wrong film.
Terminator.
Oh, shit, it is Terminator.
It was the Terminator.
Fuck, I can't get anything right.
All right. Well, Tim, since you're at the end, or since Rick's in the lead with 4.25 to your 2.25, I'm gonna give you this last
Now
question.
it's his. You got to give it to him. That's the way it's got to roll. It
All
doesn't
right,
matter. He's
all right.
won, so it doesn't matter. If there's only one question.
Name one of the 2 filmmakers, director, writer, EP, producer, we have reviewed the most movies for.
I don't know, man. George Lucas.
That is 1. Congratulations.
It's not right. It's right?
That's right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I would have also accepted Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King.
Oh, shit. Dang, dude.
So, congratulations, Rick.
You win the Batman.
Shit,
You win.
man. Shit.
You win.
All right.
The statue.
All right. I don't win nothing, but I'll
There
take
you
it.
go.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, gentlemen, this has been episode 100. I hope you guys had fun talking about Batman. I hope you at least enjoyed some of the trivia, Tim.
No, it was all good, man. I just, if a guy that's, significantly younger than me feels good about beating a guy who's probably losing his mind. You just keep that trophy, feel good about it, sir.
I will just concede that I probably just made a bunch of good guesses.
No, you had it, man. I can't believe I did so poorly. But no, it was good. Congratulations.
Well, gentlemen, for our 100th time, Tim, will you bring us home?
Thanks for listening to Middle Age Reviews Podcast and our review of Batman. We hope you've enjoyed it because we are only laughing on the outside. Our smile is just skin deep. If you could see inside we're really crying, you might even join us for a week. So please keep the waterworks from flowing and like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your friends. Help us keep the 100-episode MAM community growing strong so we can continue to keep you from wasting your precious death clock on crappy movies.
Follow us on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Have a comment or a suggestion, then email the show at manreviewpodcast@gmail.com. And hey, you want to support our show? Then check out our Threadless shop for all our cool merch at middleagemoviereviews.threadless.com.
Thanks, stay cool, and bye, everyone.
Where do they get such wonderful shirts?
When the lights go down, the big screen gets so bright. I got my favorite beverage, snacks, and my chair feels right. Yeah. Color, silent, black and white. You never know what's on that screen tonight, but you're gonna find out on Middle Age Movie Reviews. But will I like it? Will I like it? 'Cause you know the death clock. No, it's not rewinding. No, will I like it? Will I like it? 'Cause you know the death clock. No, it's not rewinding. Oh, will I like it? Will I like it? 'Cause you know the death clock. No, it's not.